What's up, everybody? How we doing? It's Friday Night Lights with JT Best Ball. We got my man Hartman in the building. Really sharp dude. It was fun drafting with him last time that he was on the channel, so we decided that we'd have him back tonight. See, am I forgetting? Oh yeah, we got a new intro. We finally figured out how to put it together. So much like the real NFL and best ball, we evolve. We change the way we think about things. We change our strategies, just like the NFL has evolved over the years. So, I kind of wanted to show that in my intro. Here it goes. You guys tell me what you think. What's up, Hartman? How you doing tonight?
Oh, what's up? Pretty good. How about you? That was a
Pretty
pretty
good,
sick
man.
intro.
Pretty good. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, it was a headache. I've been kind of working on it a couple of days, and then today I finally had some free time. So I got my older daughter. I'm always talking about my daughters. I got my older daughter to help me. She actually helped me with the little letters there at the end where it comes in and then peels away like that and stuff. But we like it. It was fun. It passed. I tested it. I did like a unlisted, stream earlier today just to put it on YouTube and make sure it didn't get any copyrights or any flags or anything like that. And it was good. We're gonna hop in a 30-second eliminator since we're talking. I'll go ahead and click on it real quick. Just to sometimes I know they can take a minute to fill. 5 spots left in a 30-second eliminator. If anybody would like to hop in and join us.
Uh, I'll drop it in the Discord real quick.
Hartman likes the intro. Mark says old school vintage Earl Campbell. Yes, I had to, stay true to my roots with the Earl Campbell. We had to finish with the Nico highlight from last year when he threw the Bears dude off.
Yeah, no, that was pretty good. I like that how it goes like all the way from the old to the new. That was
Yeah.
pretty cool little montage. Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. I draft different. I just like to do different things, and I don't know. I know I like everybody's intros that I've seen, and so that's why I wanted to put one together. But I was like, let me do a little something different. Let me kind of, show at least a few clips over the years. Get a little Barry Sanders in there and a little Earl Campbell. I don't even know who those people are in the very first clip. I was just searching through some old clips and I thought it was kind of funny. Old dude kind of gives it the little up in the air and then behind the back handoff or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was pretty cool. And Barry, that's my guy. Lions fan. So
Oh, you
that's
are a
my
Lions fan?
yeah.
How's a California boy end up a Lions fan?
Oh,
What's the
I'm from
story?
Michigan. I'm from
Oh,
Michigan.
okay. Okay, you just
Yeah.
live in California. That
Yeah,
makes
yeah. I'd
sense.
moved out here when I was like 16 or something like that. So then, but grew up like Lions fan, all that. Still a Lions fan. I like the Raiders too, but Lions are the number one. So
I got you. I got you. I grew up in the
you're
Houston area and I moved around a lot, but you know how it is with your Lions. You just still always root for the team that you grew up rooting for.
right. Okay, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking you said Texans fan, but yeah. Now I kind of remember.
3 more. It should fill up here pretty quick.
Yeah, yeah. It sometimes it just takes a minute or two, but it hasn't been too bad. It feels like lately with the eliminator and stuff.
Hmm. As a Lions fan, I guess one of the few franchises that knows misery like Houston fans. Y'all
Yeah,
might be worse just because y'all been around for a lot longer.
yeah. Yeah. Fun fact. Do you know the Lions won the last two championships back to back before it got called the Super Bowl.
I did not
Like,
know that.
yeah, they were back to back world champions. Then it became the Super Bowl. Then it was the Packers. So, you know,
Oh man. Too
tough.
bad
It's tough.
they couldn't have waited a year and then they could say they have a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Now that this year is the Super Bowl year. It's coming. It's coming.
It's coming. How you feel about all the losses though? I mean, because you
Um,
guys lost a lot, but not player wise, but coaching matters. And, Ben Johnson and Glenn all in the same year. Your center just retired.
I really feel like Aaron Glenn. I don't really care too much about that one. I feel like he wasn't a bad defensive coach by any means, but I feel like he was average. I don't really feel like I don't know. I don't feel like he was really innovative or like an amazing defensive coach. I feel like he was okay.
Okay.
Losing Ben Johnson, like we have all the pieces. So I do think he was really innovative, but at least we replaced him from within. So hopefully it's people that kind of learn from him and are able to continue that system on. That's kind of the hope. But that one is more scary for sure. Defense, I'm really not as concerned. I would expect the defense to be better than last year. I mean, well, last year they had all the injuries, but just better performing in general.
Okay. Okay. Are the tackles still going to catch passes? That's what we want to know.
Oh, I mean, have to. I think
Johnson
a
was
little
just
bit.
clowning last year sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, especially the Cowboys game because that was the one where they said he was like ineligible 2 years ago, and then so
Yeah.
they had like 5 passes to the tackles or whatever. It was just crazy. Yeah, yeah. How do you feel about the Texans this year? How are they going to do?
Man, I'm excited, but I've learned with them to always kind of try to keep my expectations low. It's better to be surprised when they are really good. But no, I'm hopeful, man, because I think the defense is gonna legit be really good. I mean, D'Amico had them playing super strong at the end of the year. We didn't really lose anybody. I mean, both our ends are back. One of them's young and probably still not even in his prime yet. Uh, the corner and the safety that they drafted last year were really good. Petrie was looking pretty good in the slot. They kind of use him as like a hybrid slot, where he blitzes sometimes, plays the run, and was actually better than most people thought he was going to be in coverage. But then he got hurt. He's back. Really, the one weakness we had all last year was the other safety spot opposite of the rookie Bullock, and they went out and got C.J. Gardner Johnson or whatever from Philly to fill that role. So
Hmm.
I don't know,
Yeah,
man. I think they'll be pretty good. They brought in Kirk. They drafted the rookies Higgins and the other dude. It was bad last year, man. Once Tank and Diggs got hurt, it was like between how just dumb and vanilla the OC was with his play calling. Teams literally just like, all right, let's take Nico away, and we already know what kind of runs you guys are going to do, and just you're going to have to beat us with somebody else other than Nico, and it didn't work too well for the most part. But
yeah.
still, the defense kept them in games, so.
And I mean, so how do you feel about like the offensive line this year?
Everybody says how they're the worst in the league, and they didn't really upgrade it a lot. They got rid of Tunsil, but Tunsil, like, I don't know. I was actually okay with that move. The dude is a good pass blocker when he tries. The dude puts zero effort into run blocking, like zero. So many plays, you'll see a run play, and he's just like standing there half-ass trying to block somebody. Jumps off sides, false starts at least twice a game. You can count on Tunsil starting early. It's kind of a running joke between Texan fans or whatever. How many is he going to have today? But, the thing is, I think a lot of it could have been coaching because, like, so 2 years ago, whenever people didn't really know Bobby Slowick's scheme and stuff and how he was going to try to approach things, we literally had pretty much the same offensive line as we had last year for the most part, except a couple of them were rookies instead of second-year people. and they performed so much better 2 years ago. That same group, for essentially, it wasn't like we had some stud
Mhm.
tackle or guard that we let go last year. It was essentially kind of the same group. It was just going into last year, like the OC Slowick, he didn't really change much or evolve much. And defensive coordinators are really smart too. Like they're gonna figure out what you're doing, right? And they kind of figured out his bread and butter. They figured out the kind of stuff he liked to do. And there's a lot of stuff that came out this offseason about like part of why he got fired was CJ. CJ wanted like more control at the line of scrimmage, but it sounds like Slowick is one of those, no, this is how it's going to be. Like, we're not going to be checking out of, our plays to something crazy. We might can check from a right run to a left run or something, but we're not going to check out of the run and go to the pad. Like, oh, so apparently, I can't think of his name now. It slipped my mind. The guy that they brought in from the Rams, I cannot think of his name. Um, Anyways, the OC that they brought in from the Rams, I just can't think of his name. I had a brain
Oh,
fart,
Nick
but
Nick Caley.
Kaylee, yeah. I know he is. I just couldn't think of it. But apparently, like everything he's been saying is total opposite. You know how he's like got blind trust in CJ from the word go, and they'll continue to build that. And CJ is going to have a lot more freedom at the line and stuff like that. So we'll see. We'll see if it holds true and how it goes. If nothing else, I think having all those rookies plus Kirk is going to help. I like how they drafted the two rookies because okay, now if somebody goes down, you have another guy who's hopefully pretty decent that can kind of step into where you still got three good options or whatever. It's almost like they drafted clones, right? Like the Higgins guy is like literally the same size, speed, height as Nico. And then the other guy, Noel, kind of profiles for almost like a Christian Kirk type game or whatever. So it's almost like they said, all
Yeah.
right, we're going to get a replacement for each of our dudes in case they get hurt.
Yeah.
I'm,
Well,
I'm
I think
excited to
though,
see what they do, though.
In Christian Kirk, he's probably kind of more of a shorter term answer anyway, right? So getting
Oh,
a guy
yeah,
like
yeah.
Noel is probably good for the long term. And then if you can get two Nico Collins, I think any team would be pretty happy with that. One on each outside, put one on each boundary, and you're set. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see, man, because I like Higgins' tape. I've been drafting Higgins a good amount. Let's see
Oh
what we
yeah, yeah,
have here.
yeah.
We
Same here.
pulled the 7 spot. Off the
Uh,
Snide is in this room with us, and Steve-O is in this room with us. I think Off the Snide is streaming right now too. I was watching his stream a little bit ago. I wonder if
oh yeah.
if he's streaming this same one that we're streaming.
I
That's
think he
kind of
probably
interesting.
is.
Probably in that
Uh,
Steve right there, Steve O speaking that Steve Shoop's name or whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, so we got a shark infested waters.
Yeah. This is gonna be a
We'll have
pretty
to
tough room.
maneuver our way
Uh,
through it here. What are you doing in the eliminator? You have a certain build you like doing, or
um, it's not so much a certain build. I'm just prioritizing the running backs and like the onesie positions a little bit more. Um,
mm-hmm.
but kind of play the board, but like just a little more open to early running back, early like onesies like quarterback, tight end, especially elite QBs and stuff. How about you? What are you thinking about it?
I've been doing a fair amount of them, so I have kind of been mixing it up some, kind of all over the place. I am with you though. I definitely like to get that elite quarterback. Now, do you stick generally like let's say you get especially a Lamar or an Allen or something, do you then generally stick with two, or are you still more willing to go with three?
I'm pretty willing to go with three still. It just has to be a little bit lower cost. If I
Mm-hmm.
get like a higher end guy, like let's say maybe like Fields, Mahomes, Bo Nix, I might stop at two. Yeah,
CMC, Genty, Puka as a stud receiver. What do you want to do?
I lean CMC. They have a really easy early schedule. Well, they have an early schedule in
Mm-hmm.
general. I think you were actually kind of talking about that the other night. Um,
Yep.
and I think the Raiders actually have kind of a tough early schedule, and just a rookie might start a little slow, you know. So I just kind of lean CMC if he's healthy.
You know, one thing the last couple of nights when I've done eliminators, I've been looking at too is I think I pulled it from somewhere in Who Hames Discord. I don't know. He has so many charts in there, I lose track. But it's I got a chart from somewhere a while back that has basically like the implied point totals of all of the teams, their average point totals for each week 1 through 17, just kind of over the course of the whole season, basically. So I haven't been living or dying by it, but like, according to it, Buffalo's first, Baltimore, Detroit, Kansas City, Washington, Philly are all expected to score the most points on the season. San Francisco's right there at like 7. Then,
Mhm.
like your Cleveland, New Orleans, Giants, Jets, Tennessee, Raiders, Pittsburgh, all of them are down at the bottom. Of course, that was before Rodgers signed. I guess Pittsburgh might be bumped up a little bit now.
Yeah, but the way I saw it too with Pittsburgh, a lot of the lines were factoring him in already, it seemed like. Or at least I saw
Hmm.
some like reports about that because you look at their win totals and stuff, like those had to be with Rodgers. They couldn't have been with like Will Howard or Rudolph because they were like 8.5, 9.5 wins or something like that. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I would imagine they were projecting that in already.
Let's see. See what all Cody does. Cody's gonna be on the channel next Wednesday night.
Oh
Puka
yeah.
and Taylor. Steve went neighbors and Chan.
Yeah, it is kind of crazy seeing that many running backs get ripped off the board. It makes me feel pretty good that we grabbed RB in the first round.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Which they do seem like they go, a little higher in here than maybe a BBM or something. But it makes sense, right? Because like you got to get out of the first week, and then you got to win a couple head to heads to really get it going. What are you
Mhm.
thinking with this pick? Are you London, Lad? I know you said you're into the onesies. Bowers is there
Um,
pretty much at ADP. I would
hmm.
say one of those three. If it was
Yeah,
me, I
yeah.
would maybe lean London or Bowers, but I know you're a Lad guy, aren't you?
Yeah, a little bit, but we can
I'm
grab
okay with whatever.
London.
You're the guest. Build it out. Let's build it out you like.
No, we can get London.
You
I'm a
want
little
London?
bit. Yeah, London's good. Yeah.
You sure? We can go Lad. He's got a week 12 bye.
Um, I mean London's fine. We can grab London.
All
Uh,
right.
I'm
London
a
it is.
little bit of a hater, but I like Penix, and I think with Penix, London might really get a lot of targets. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming around a little bit to London. I like
Okay.
all three of those guys quite a bit though.
Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's like you can't really you don't really feel bad going with any of them.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
way better than the Joey Harrington days. If there was a player you had to bet will get a touchdown week 1, who would it be? For me, he meant CMC. Well, good. I hope he gets 2 touchdowns because we haven't.
Yeah. Um yeah, I would probably lean either CMC or Barkley, right? It's got to be probably one of the two is the best bet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, big dog, but Derrick Henry. But I mean, he didn't score week one last year. I don't think he actually had a really bad week one, but he was playing the Chiefs, so kind of made
Uh,
sense because that was like one of his worst games of the entire season. Was that Chiefs game?
that's another chart. I'm gonna change it over here on my other computer real quick. Do you ever look at that one chart that Who Hames has in his thing where he's got like the first 6 weeks for every team or whatever?
Oh yeah, like the heat map. I've looked at
Yeah,
it
yeah,
a
yeah.
little bit. I'm just kind of to the point where like it can be useful. It's just I don't know. I don't get that far into the weeds
I
usually.
I'll be honest, I don't look at all I don't pay any attention to his colors and stuff on there, or like I guess some the blue and green I think are supposed to mean easier weeks. Sometimes when I'm drafting eliminators, I do like to have it pulled up over here on my other computer just so I can kind of see, all right, who does such and such play the first 3 to 4 weeks of the season? Does it seem like, tough matchups to me, or is especially as we get a little more into the draft and I'm trying to like break a tie or something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that makes sense. I think especially looking at the like really tough matchups is probably like I would think that would be a little more helpful. But I mean, either way, I guess it could be pretty helpful if they have a really great matchup too, right? You have a running
Hmm.
back against the Panthers or a receiver against the Bengals or something. Like that's pretty good to know.
I see where you're talking about two tonight, where it says 2 picks away, 1 pick away. Thanks for that
Oh
little pro tip last night. That draft was a disaster last night.
yeah,
I
it
was
happens to
messing up
all of
every
us.
left and right. All right, we're about to be on the clock. Lamar is there. I know you said you're into the onesies. He'd be right at ADP. Tyreek,
Uh,
Kyron.
I would go Lamar or Tyreek. Either one's fine with me.
Well,
I don't know how
listen, do
you
we
feel
want to get
about
another?
Tyreek.
I'm okay with both of them. We
Hmm.
could build it with an elite QB. He has a week 7 bye. You want to go Lamar?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that feels good. I think either one feels pretty good. I like the elite QBs. I lean a little bit to them, but I also feel pretty good getting like three in the pocket, like kind of that like that pocket where a bunch of them all go. So,
Mm-hmm.
I think either way it feels pretty good. Um I don't know so how are you feeling about like the elite onesies, stuff like that, the QB tight end?
You know what I'm really finding is I don't really have a set way that I like to build the eliminators. I've built them where, I don't get a tight end that early. I will say I I should try more, but I don't really build that much where I wait till really late and get like just three whatever tight ends later in the draft. I probably should try more that way. For some reason, it's like if I don't get Bowers and then I pass on Kittle, I start getting itchy and normally click my boy Hawkinson. If I didn't get like Kittle or Bowers, so I would say I generally have a pretty decent tight end.
Hmm.
But I
Okay.
don't know. Do you build any eliminator teams where you just totally punt it off? I think that was that you I was watching earlier that punted tight end off in some contest? Or that was super flex though,
Oh,
wasn't
that was super flex. I stay punting tight end and super flex.
it?
That's always my strat usually. But
Okay.
in eliminator, I mean I'm okay with doing it if I feel like the values are good enough at running back or receiver. Um I'm okay with punting off tight end. I prefer to get at least one that doesn't feel like a total punt. That way I can maybe
Mhm.
get some consistency, like maybe like a
Ex
that like Kraft and Joku range, for example.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but I mean, it feels I do it sometimes. I kind of mix up the builds in this quite a bit. The only thing I don't mix up is I pretty much always have a good running back room. Or at least
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
decent, like
yeah.
two. Yeah.
No, I agree. I think I did one the other day that was pushing it about as much as I'm willing to push it. We could what are you thinking here? You thinking running back? I'm not super in on more. I don't know if you are. If it was
Uh,
me, I would probably be leaning like either Mixon or Hampton, speaking of running backs, or Chuba, but
I would probably prefer Mixon if he's available. Okay, yeah, let's go Mixon.
nothing wrong
Um,
with that.
Yeah, I just think the Bears, like I'm really in on the Bears passing game this year. But there is a risk they could start a little bit slow with like the
Mhm.
whole new offensive system. It's a pretty complex offense. Maybe they're a team
Mhm.
that takes a couple weeks to get rolling and then they really take off. So an eliminator could be kind of rough.
Yeah. And I've talked about Mixon before. Like I definitely he was pretty good for us last year. it got a little tougher once everybody got hurt, kind of like with Nico. It was like, it got to the point late in the year where it was like, all right, let's just like make sure Mixon doesn't beat us, double Nico, make sure he doesn't beat us because we literally had nothing else that scared anybody. But,
Yeah.
with hopefully a better system in place and more talent at receiver, that should also open it up for Mixon a little bit. I do think we'll have the lead in a fair amount of games. So, you know,
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean that makes sense to me.
Nick's in
Oh,
here. What's up, Nick?
what's up, bro? Um, but yeah, no, that makes sense to me. And I mean, Mixon still was pretty good, even like a little bit later once he came back from injury. He didn't fall off too hard or anything.
Hmm.
So yeah, I
There's
mean, I
no
think all
competition
pretty
for
good.
his job. They really, they brought in the Marks guy, which it was weird. They traded up to get him, and I know a lot of people didn't have him like that high or whatever, but his profile is kind of more. I haven't looked into him super in depth, but they say he's more of like a pass catching, almost change of pace, third down back. We got two receivers on the board. I was talking about Connor the other night. He has a really nice 1 through 6 schedule. If we want to go another running back, what are you thinking here?
I'm fine with probably Connor or DK. You can pick. I think. I mean, we could go Connor and then just really get volume at receiver later.
Yeah, let's do it.
Might be pushing it a little, but I don't know. These people on the turn seem to be really ripping the running backs away. So, well, they don't have quite as much running back volume. They were going for it early, so
Mm-hmm.
maybe they'll kind of lean running back more like now, since the people on the left kind of leaned running back early.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
Well,
I
in a
don't
team
know.
like this too, the fact that we have Lamar, if we needed to catch up at receiver, we could always just play it as a 2 QB build, Yeah, it, if just depending on how it works out, if we get to that point where it's going to be, we get one more receiver bullet because we just need to attack receiver more so with volume because we couldn't catch up enough. So it kind of leaves us, options because if I wait till like that tier of QBs later, once I get to for me kind of really Fields. Like once I get down to Fields, I like Fields. I like the floor that he gives you, but I feel like really honestly anybody that's not one of the elites because I don't take a lot of Burrow. I only take Mahomes if he's stacked or whatever. So like
Mhm.
really if I don't have an elite, then I'm almost always trying to build with 3 in the eliminator. But the fact that we do have Lamar, it kind of gives us that out that if we feel like we need the extra receiver later, we could always just keep it at 2.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I totally agree with that. I think I don't know, it gives us pretty good flexibility. Like obviously if we can get 3 at a good value, that always feels good. But it just doesn't make us have to like really reach for a QB if there is like a receiver we like or maybe like a fifth, fourth
Mhm.
running back we like, something like that. So yeah, I mean that can feel pretty good. And then hopefully OTS, he always likes his Joe Burrow. Has to get his Joe Burrow. Um
Does
but
he?
you
Oh yeah,
kind
I
of
guess he's a big Cincy fan.
Yeah. But you kind of look like how it's fallen to us. Like we got kind of a big wall of receivers coming back. So maybe it
Mhm.
will feel good that we kind of grabbed the running back there,
Yeah, well, and I
especially
figured that, because generally, like in the 6th round, it's not, it's kind of seems like once you get to the 7th, that's when sometimes it's kind of like, do I really want to take this receiver? So still might be hard
Mhm.
to catch up, but there's a couple guys here I wouldn't mind having.
Yeah, well, especially I mean, I have definitely one I'd want the most if we can get him, but we'll see
The
what.
guy on the clock now has 3 receivers, so
Yeah,
there's
so
a
hopefully he
chance we
grabs
could.
like Previon. Ah,
Uh, Ridley was the guy I wanted. I'm guessing that's
that was
probably who you wanted.
yeah, that was the guy.
We could go
Judy, you
Judy.
think?
I
I
mean,
lean
somebody's got to
Judy.
catch passes there, right? It's a
Yeah,
kind of
and
later buy.
Yeah, and I think he'll get good volume. I lean Judy too. What's our other receiver by week?
I don't believe it's 9 because it's London. 5.
Oh,
So
right,
it's kind of
London,
early,
right?
but
Okay, yeah. I was kind of forgetting
I
who we had.
I don't have them memorized, but I remember I thought I remembered it being an early bye week, whatever it was.
Mhm.
We're actually doing really well. We don't have any overlappings right now, which I don't really worry about it too much. Like, if a running back and a receiver are on the same bye, but to have our first five, even including the quarterback, really, our first
Yeah.
6 picks, nobody overlaps with each other. We didn't even purposely try to do it. It's not like we, took a worse player to make it happen.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's just how the board fell. Yeah, I mean that worked out. That worked out pretty good with that. Um, I mean that yeah, that always feels good when you really avoid it, especially with your early capital. Because I don't mind getting a couple there on the same buy like later, but with the early capital, it always hurts, especially if it's at the same position when you get
Hmm.
like multiple guys on buy. With your earlier picks, because it feels like you're losing such a big chunk of your team.
Yeah, for sure. I like how it's going so far. We'll make this pick and maybe another pick, and then we'll start looking at a recap. Let's see what Steve's doing over there. Silent but deadly. That man builds some good teams. I've been watching a lot of the stuff he's been on. Neighbors, Chan, and Daniels. Then he went Adams, Pollard, and Pickens. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, he got a pretty good fall, especially on Pickens. Pickens in the 6th round, that feels pretty nice.
Anything you like here? Is this for sure a receiver spot for you?
I would definitely lean Jacoby if he's available.
Okay,
Um,
we'll put him up there. Oh,
I think just like the consistent, like being a little thinner, the consistent like floor he can provide, and then he might have a little more ceiling with that higher paced Raiders offense. I
that
feel
is
good
true.
with
That
him.
is true. And I mean, Bowers is going to be the number one target guy, but you
Oh
know,
yeah.
if when teams try to take Bowers away, Myers had a pretty good year last year, and he's definitely got a quarterback upgrade.
Mhm. Well, and the big thing I think too is like with the Chip Kelly offensive system, the pace of play that they use, like it might end up being pretty good volume, like enough plays to go around. Where him
Hmm.
and Bowers can both have pretty good seasons. Obviously, Bowers, like you said, is the alpha, but we're getting Jacoby in the 7th round, and he's the pretty clearly the wide receiver one at least.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. I
See,
think he feels pretty good there, especially being a little thinner.
see what Steve and off the Schneid is. Steve goes Jordan Mason, and Cody goes with. Oh, I like the way it's going so far, though. If we could get a couple more decent receivers here the next few rounds, get up to 5 that we feel okay about.
Hmm.
Cody takes my boy Hawkinson. Are you thinking just to help us catch up at receiver, and if there's maybe a running back value or something that we don't want to pass up on a guy we like? Are you kind of thinking with this one 3 later tight ends, especially we're already getting kind of past the Hawkinson tier?
Um,
Well,
yeah. I mean,
Laporta, but I
that's
I
kind of
forgot
interesting.
Laporta hadn't went yet. Yeah, he just doubled them up, huh?
Yeah.
He still only has one running back.
Hmm. Hero RB.
Interesting.
Yeah, Hero RB, right? Um, yeah, I'm a lot more open on position on this one. I think we've at least caught up enough at receiver where at least we have 3 starters. Um, obviously that's still like our priority, I would say, if we don't really have a clear favorite. But I think we can definitely go back to like if we like any values, kind of grab the value. We're not like so
Yeah.
pigeonholed into like having to take receiver, even though that's our priority.
Mhm. Just kind of looking through, seeing what's out here. I
Mhm.
don't like any of these tight ends that's right around here. So I feel like here, you tell me what you're thinking. We have a couple options. We could go back to running back and get a fourth and then really slow down the bye week if we went with Warren.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm okay with them if you like them, but I'm not really in on Ayuk. Downs, I guess now that Jones is there, wouldn't be half bad. What are you
Uh,
thinking for our other quarterback? Are we going to wait on Penix or we could do like a Fields and just call Lamar and Fields a room?
I think we wait a little bit on QB, and then maybe try to get two. I lean Downs.
Yeah. I'm not an
I
Ayuk
was
guy.
Yeah, not in the especially not in this format. Like even if
Mm-mm.
I'm like kind of in the middle on Ayuk, like I'm probably gonna have more of an even exposure. But in Eliminator, I'm not in on him at all. He might miss the first month of the season even. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
he's a really bad pick around where he goes here.
I can't get there on any format with him. I don't think I've clicked him since I came over to Underdog. I mean, even when he was healthy last year, I don't know. It's almost like he got his payday and isn't motivated anymore. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't see
Yeah.
him, especially. I do think he'll either start slow or not start the year at all. And so, keeping that in mind, I mean, he would have to just be massive at the end of the season for that team to really, really kill you. So he's a guy I guess I don't really mind being out on.
Well, I guess kind of how I view him, not an eliminator, but in like a regular, like a BBM, for example, is you
Hmm.
can usually get him as like your wide receiver five, like 5 or 6. So even if he starts really slow, if you have like 5 or 6 receivers you really like, or like let's say 4 or 5 you really like, and then you throw on Ayuk,
Yeah.
if he hits big in week 15, 16, 17, he's elite all that way down. If you advance that team, that's all he really needs to do to be worth it, right? If he's the guy you
Hmm.
need those weeks, the Niners have a very soft schedule. And like I like building out Niner stacks too a lot. Like I'm really in on them this year. So like if I have a Kittle or a CMC and then I kind of want to get a receiving weapon and maybe I missed on like Pearsall or Jawan, I don't mind
Okay.
putting him on a team like that just to kind of strengthen my correlation on like a team I want to get Brock Purdy or something like that. That's kind of how I'm viewing him, but I can understand being out. He didn't look very good last year and he's dealing with multi ligament knee injury.
Yeah, that's part of why I draft a lot of Kittle because I just feel like I don't know. I feel like would it be crazy if at the end of the year Kittle has more targets than anybody on that team? No, not this year.
No, that wouldn't
All
be
right, we're
crazy.
on the clock. If it was me, it would be one of these two guys. Unless you want to do Pittman, we did just take downs. I'm definitely out on Cup. You
Um,
like one of these two guys, or is there something else you like?
I'm fine with one of those two. I mean, we could grab Nick. I'm fine with one of those two. Your favorite of those two.
Let's go Higgins. I like them both.
I was
Higgins
gonna.
kind of, correlates a little bit with our team stack, and I had looked at it a minute ago before I started them, and I knew that Shaheed and Downs had that same buy where at least Higgins now
Yeah.
all our receivers still don't overlap, and it kind of correlates with Mix and just the Houston team correlation or whatever.
Yeah. I was thinking about floating like Bo Nix. I just
Okay.
I think he's a pretty good like pick here with kind of like Dak and Caleb already went, so I feel like Bo Nix was a decent value. But I like grabbing the receiver there probably more. Um
Hmm.
I was just thinking about floating it, kind of seeing how you felt about it, but I think the
I
receiver
would
there
have
was
been
probably the
okay
right
with it
call.
with Lamar though. I want to say maybe with this team, our best bet is let's just wait and let's grab us another running back and keep building out those position spots. We still don't have a tight end, and we could throw Andrews on there soon with Lamar or something if you're
Mhm.
okay with that in eliminator. I still like to get some little stacks and stuff like that. I'm not afraid to stack in the eliminators. I started the year off not really worrying at all about stacking in the eliminator, but then the more I've just like thought about it, it's like you're going to still need some teams that are putting up some dang good scores week in and week out. So I do still. I found myself over the last couple weeks getting back to stacking it a lot more, like I would almost a regular team, a regular tournament or whatever. But what I was gonna say is maybe wait and just take Penix and just call Lamar and Penix a room. Hope that
We
Lamar
could,
is really doing what Lamar does.
and we can look at Stroud too and see
Yeah,
if we
yeah,
can get
yeah. True.
Stroud and Penix. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely, we could do something like that. Um,
Uh,
I talked about last time that my two favorite on the board was Shaheed and Higgins, and Shaheed came back to us. We could go with him. Andrews already went, so that's not even really an option anymore. You want to take
uh,
Shaheed, and
yeah,
or
yeah,
is
I'm
there
fine with
something else you
Shaheed.
like here?
I'm fine. I'm fine with Shaheed. That's fine.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it it was a big ADP fall on Cup, but if you're fully out, I'm fine with not taking him. I'm not very in on Cup either. It's just a big.
Yeah,
It was like a pretty big value on him. But I get it. If you're just out on the guy, then you're out on the guy.
I just, honestly, it's more of how much I don't think Sam Darnold is going to be good.
Yeah,
A-
that's
and
fair.
and Cup. I mean, if there was a different quarterback there, I would be more in on Cup. If he still
Yeah.
played with the Rams, I would be a little more in on him, I think. I'm just between his age and he's going outdoors and I don't. Wish I could give them their credit because it was not my original idea, but I can't think of who it was that was talking about it. But somebody was talking about how the move almost doesn't make sense from the standpoint of Cup and JSN kind of win in the same areas. When you think about it, they both kind of do their best work from the slot. So are you really going to have two receivers running out of the slot? Who's going to move to the outside? When Cup tried to move to the outside to let Puka run the slot, Cup really wasn't that good.
Mhm. Well, yeah, and JSN led the league in slot snaps last year.
And not, exactly. And so I just can't see them making their young up and coming guy who's really good in the slot try to become the outside guy. So I think they're just gonna like be okay with Cup as an outside guy. I don't know. And then there's the Darnold part.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm super out on Darnold, especially. Like, I think he had his one magical season with, arguably the best receiver in the league and one of the best play callers in the league. And now he turns back to a pumpkin, you know.
All right, you tell me what are you liking here? You want me to look at a certain position or
I mean, I like Njoku. We do already have a Cleveland piece. So if you think that's too much, I'd be fine passing.
yeah, no,
We
no, we only
I'd
got one
say
Cleveland piece. It's a different
Njoku
position.
or Njoku or Stroud. Though I'm okay with either of those picks.
Well, let's glance real quick. You want to get in Njoku and see if Stroud will come back to us?
Oh
The
yeah,
Nico
I mean,
drafter only has one. We'll take Njoku. We need a tight end.
well, we don't really have to worry about Stroud coming back. Even I was just more thinking if we wanted the three QBs, we
Mm-hmm.
could have got like Stroud and then maybe got Penix on the way back, where we probably
Mm-hmm.
won't be able to do that on the next turn. But if we want to stop at two, then I think we
Well,
were totally fine passing on QB.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. But I like Njoku there. I think he'll be a pretty good target earner, even with bad QB play. I think he'll earn a good amount of targets there, so I'm not like super worried. Um, I don't know. He was very efficient last year. He was like tight on 5 points per game. I'm really high on him, even with like bad QB play. He just has been a little injury prone, is my only like big concern with him. But
Who
you can't
Njoku?
really. Yeah, yeah, but, like, you can't really predict that. Injuries aren't predictive unless it's, like, certain guys, certain injuries, but, like, the injuries like a guy like him's had, that's not really predictive. It's like Nico Collins, he's been hurt, but, like, I wouldn't say he's injury prone by any means, anything like
No,
that,
no.
you know?
Our team does not get injured, Hartman.
Yeah, of course
Forgot
not.
to tell you that.
Yeah,
Only the other teams. Whatever
yeah,
backup running backs we draft here in a little bit. That's the teams that's getting injured.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Now you're thinking.
No, I hear you though, but we'll probably end up having, especially if we stick with two QBs and our first tight end being Njoku, then I feel like we probably go three tight ends.
Yeah, probably if we stick with two QBs. We did just get both our QBs taken though, so a little
Oh,
tough.
did what's it McCall go to?
Yeah, Penix and Stroud both went.
Huh.
Steve and off the schneid, they took both our guys.
Well, we could try to push it
Good
a
stuff.
little more and get Gino to come back. Where's the Bauer? The Bowers drafter will be on the other side of us. So as
Oh, yeah.
long as the Bowers drafter doesn't take Gino now, we could grab one other position here and see if Gino comes back since we have Myers. You want to do that?
Yeah, that's fine. Um, so I think I would lean like we could take our second tight end and be done at tight end with like Kraft, or we could take like Tank Bigsby, Jack Besh. I don't know if you like any of those guys. We could take Thielen too, set up a young thing, but
Mm, I'm not really in on Bish. We'll take Kraft. Time was
okay.
running out, and he was one of the first guys you called out. And I
I think
like
we
Kraft.
stop at, and I think we stop at two with that. We
With that,
can. We
just
don't
keep it
have
at
to.
Njoku and Kraft.
Yeah, because those, I mean, both those guys, like, you're talking about two top 10 tight ends last year. I mean, Kraft had 700 yards, 7 touchdowns, right? And Njoku was like top 5 in points per game. I mean, I think that's enough capital to stop at two. We don't
Yeah,
have to.
yeah.
We can get one like real late, but I think we can stop at two. It gives us
Hmm.
the possibility, right? If we
No,
really
I
like a
agree.
guy,
I
we
would
can still
be.
grab
I'm
him.
okay with. I'm okay with an eliminator team with just those two. I mean, because tight end is your least scoring position, anyways, right? I mean, unless you
Mhm.
have, let's say, one of the top 4 or 5 guys, you're probably just most weeks hoping you get a double digit score of some sort, 10, 12 points.
Right, right. Yeah, no, I mean, I I agree with that, and like I think it puts us in a spot where we definitely can go either way. Like we could get a third. It's not like too much capital. I think it just gives us the possibility. Just gives us like more flexibility to kind of play the board, like see what we like, everything like that. Just
Yeah,
having
yeah.
like
No,
those
I
two
totally
can
agree
be
with
big.
that. I
Mhm.
totally agree with that.
And then like, especially, I mean, we might end up getting the QB we like back, but like we might feel a little bit more wanting to get a third one near the end.
Mm-hmm.
Because we do have Lamar, so we don't ever really need to, but it is a little bit lighter than if we got like Stroud or Penix. So
Mm-hmm.
kind of debatable, I guess.
I think there's a decent chance. I was hoping that here in that back half of the 12th, no one grabbed Bish because, then I could possibly see, like, if one of these guys grabbed Bish, maybe then they were going to take Gino.
Hmm.
Bryce and Tua just went. The guys in
Uh,
front of us, there goes Bish, but he won't pick again before us. Both the guys in front of us have to. So if he doesn't take him, are we just going Gino to make sure we get a second quarterback for sure here?
yeah, I think so, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
that's what
definitely.
I would do because it's going to get real gross if a couple more people take quarterback and we try to push it one more time.
Yeah, yeah. Real quick on the board, does the guy at one have four QBs? The guy in the one
I
spot,
saw he had 3. I think he just started late. Yep, nope, he does have 4. Fields, Goff, Herbert, Young.
and then
All
he
right.
built out the Bryce Young stack at the end. Like
With
that's a
old
pretty
man
wild
Thielen.
move. Yeah,
Yeah. And see, you guys talk about us no badges. That's a red badge too, buddy.
yeah. No, I know.
Although
I
I'm
mean,
not no badge anymore. I got my black one the other night on stream.
well, I mean, Lutomsky, he's a big time chat rat too. He's in like
Who? Oh,
the guy
that
at
one hole?
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah, like I've talked to
Okay.
him in like the DMs and stuff too. Like I like that guy's big in the chats and everything. A little surprised to
Okay.
see him do the four QBs. Maybe I mean I guess an eliminator. Maybe it's kind of viable. It's just I was a little surprised when I saw that pick. I was like, I was looking a little at his team. I'm surprised he had a fourth one.
Especially with Fields being the first. I mean, Fields isn't elite, but his rushing alone, I think, will give you a little bit of a floor most weeks.
Yeah, I think
And
with like
then Goff
QBs
and then
that
Herbert.
good. Yeah, like the QBs are too good to get four. Like I guess maybe I think it's just too much. You should have good floor and ceiling combo with the first three,
Mm-hmm. I
especially with
I
a good
totally
rusher.
agree.
Yeah. But I don't know, yeah. Yeah, I was I just kinda I don't know. That kinda got my attention.
What's your point on the Lamar week 7 bye, Mark? Gino doesn't
Yeah.
have a week 7 bye.
The only week
He's
seven
like right
buys are the Ravens and the Bills.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, you
Gino will
actually
come through
almost
for us in
can't.
week 7.
Yeah. Well, we can actually look too. We could look at like Rogers. We could look at Tyler Shook. We
Yeah.
could look at Danny Dimes with the AR injury.
Yeah, and we do have down, so it wouldn't even be like it was unstacked or anything. We'll keep an eye on him. I
Yeah,
think I
yeah,
would
yeah. Not
like
right
maybe like a
now.
Daniel Jones over a third tight end because that would give us 2 bullets at least when Lamar's out week 7 because I feel like we know what we're going to get most weeks with Lamar. He'll probably be hitting our lineup, and if he doesn't, then there's a good chance it might not move on.
Mhm. Um.
What are you thinking
So
here? Before too long, we need to get back in the running back room.
So
We
I was
don't
just
have
gonna
to do it.
say, what do you think about grabbing Dobbins? Because he's probably gonna sign pretty soon. We're not too far ahead. I'd also be
Hmm.
okay with like I'd be okay with a couple of these running backs. Like we could do Hill with Lamar. Is there a running back you like?
Not with us having CMC because I do like Garindo. I'm okay with
Right.
Dobbins. Dobbins or Shipley, but Dobbins could have a more early season role if he's depending on where he signs. It sounds like he's going to Denver and he could have a nice little role there. We
That's
can
kind of
go
what I was
JK.
thinking.
This
It might be a little
I'm good
CLV
with it.
value too. All right, yeah. Yeah, I just think, might be a little bit of CLV value there where I think people will pick him a little earlier right now with the rumors, but when he actually signs, he's going to go up probably like, not a crazy amount, but maybe into like the 130 to 140 range in this format
Mm-hmm.
at least, I would think. Cuz those are
Mm-hmm.
handcuff type guys too.
Yeah.
Um
Well, and I mean, I know everybody loves Harvey. I actually haven't been in on Harvey this year. I haven't really been drafting him, at
mhm.
least since the regular tournament started post draft or whatever. I don't know. I didn't like his price, and Peyton never really uses just one running back. I mean, probably the one he used the most as a one running back was Kamara, and then it still wasn't even just Kamara, and I don't
Mhm.
think Harvey is Kamara.
Well,
Or
I
young
think
Kamara, I should say.
yeah. I do think Denver, they'll be a pretty efficient like rushing offense. But yeah, it is pretty hard to buy in at Harvey's current price, like with the workload. Like I just even if they don't get Dobbins, I think it's okay price because I don't think the guys behind him are very talented. But I think if they do get Dobbins, even if maybe he is not quite what he used to be, then Harvey will have to drop a good amount to be able to be like a pickable, guy. Um,
Yeah.
I'm kind of the same boat as you though. Like I actually like got a giant amount in the pre-draft, and then
Mhm.
post-draft I have like maybe like 4%, 5%, pretty low. Um, I got some because I didn't want to like miss on them if the other guys aren't talented. But if they're bringing in Dobbins, he'll fall. Maybe I'll be able to get closer to like that 8%.
All right, we're on the clock. There's what do you like here?
I'd probably like any of the top three guys on ADP are my
So like
leans.
Wright, Hill, or Gesicki, the tight. Or are you just talking about just running
Yeah.
backs?
No, right Hill Gasicki, unless we want to grab the QB right now. We could
I don't
probably
think we
wait.
have to go with Jones yet. You want to do
Okay.
Hill then, I guess, since we have Lamar?
Yeah, that feels good. Yeah.
Okay.
Any of those three felt pretty good to me.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I don't know. How are you viewing Jalen Wright? Are you thinking it's gonna be him or is Ollie Gordon pretty real
I
threat?
don't
Or what
know.
do you think?
Honestly, I've been drafting Achan, but with the Miami backup, I've kind of just been waiting for the most part. I mean, I've taken Wright a couple times. I might have taken Gordon once or twice really late. That's what's cool about, that's what I like the most, I think, about drafting with other people. It's especially my way of I talk about it all the time. I'm not afraid to have really high percentages on guys that I think are good clicks. And like that last spot for me, I didn't want to say anything because I wanted to kind of purposely, go with what you thought too, because you are a guest here, right? But Shipley is almost an instant click for me right there a minute
Oh,
ago. But no, I'm totally fine. I have plenty of Shipley.
okay, yeah. I'm pretty in on Shipley too. I do think maybe just like I think Hill might be a little better in this just because he'll have a little bit of a role every week with Henry healthy. But I think if
Hmm.
you're talking about like full season upside, just like I'm taking my moonshot, like Shipley probably gives you more of that.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
if Henry and Saquon both go down, I would rather have Shipley than Hill for sure.
Oh, of
But
course. And it made sense because of Lamar too. Like I've
oh
taken
yeah.
Hill a few times with Lamar. I haven't drafted in him on any teams that I didn't have Lamar, but I have taken him on a couple Lamar teams.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think with Lamar, because he catches some passes. If he catches a touchdown, it might be a nice little correlation, a couple times in a
Hmm.
year or something like that.
We have 3 picks left. We're
Mhm.
at 5 running backs, and we started CMC, Mixon, Connor. You thinking done there or one more? We only have 6 receivers, so we need at least one more receiver, right? The
Yeah,
way we kind of waited.
I think done at running back, and then definitely at least one more receiver, like you said.
Dang, there goes Jones.
Yeah. I
Maybe
kinda
we
I
should have
was
grabbed
thinking
him.
with the sharp lobby, I think people pull him up quite a bit. That's fine though. We didn't really need him. He would have been okay, but it's whatever. All
Well,
right.
we could
So
always go Flacco and hope he makes it to week 7. Like not right this second, but
yeah, I think we could grab I don't know, pick your favorite guy. We could grab Hopkins with Lamar. Michael
sure, let's
Wilson's
grab
fine.
Hopkins. I almost was about to say Eliminator ass Wilson, but Hopkins actually makes sense on a Lamar team. If you're gonna
Mm.
take D Hop, and he had a knee injury last year too. I'm not saying I think Hopkins is gonna have a great year there. There's been a little bit the other day there was a little bit of, good coach speak about they have 3 starters is the way they look at it, blah blah blah. And he had a knee injury in Tennessee before he went to KC. And is there a world where his knee just was never right last year and that's why he looked so much slower and just completely done? Could be.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think even if he is maybe like let's say he's not really what he was, like he's still a big-bodied receiver who could be
Mhm.
viable in the red zone. He might have a week with 50 yards and a touchdown that might hit our lineup on a low week and kind of help us out. And we have him stacked with the QB. Yeah, he plays in a
Mhm.
very high-powered offense, a lot of scoring upside. So, I think just from that perspective, like especially an eliminator, he could be a decent pick early season, kind of help our young guys maybe get off the ground a little. I think he feels okay there.
Bye week. Trying to see. Well, if he makes it back this time, it kind of makes sense having Judy and Ninjoku. Do you think Flacco makes it to week 7? Well,
Um,
I guess do you think Flacco's going to start, and if so, do you think he's going to make it to week 7?
I mean, I don't hate the call. I guess I'm a little bit of a I'm a little bit of a believer in the fifth round QB they picked, but but I'm okay with
I'll tell
I'm
you,
okay.
I
Flacco.
haven't. I've drafted Flacco a couple of times in Superflex whenever I need a quarterback later in the draft who's going to start because maybe I got kind of gross at QB.
Mhm.
Um, what are we thinking here with this one? 2572.
Uh, I don't know. I kind of like Tutu Atwell's okay. Oh, we could look at
You
running
like
back too, or Calvin Austin. I don't know if you like
Austin
any of
or
those
Tutu?
guys.
We could
I
go with
probably lean.
Wicks since we have Kraft.
Oh yeah, that feels good. Yeah, let's grab Wicks. I like Wicks.
That kind of,
Um,
just keeps with the Green Bay stuff.
I mean, I guess we could look at tight end also for like the last pick.
Mm-hmm.
See if there's anyone we like. I think we're good at receiver now. So yeah, like we could grab like a Kate Ottner or Jawan. We could look at running back or QB also. I guess we kind of already know the QB situation.
I mean,
Um, Go
we
ahead.
could, unless we wanted to go with like a unstacked Shuck. Well, I
We
guess
have
we have
Shahid.
Shaheed. Well, never mind. Shuck just went too. If we were going to
Yeah,
take him, that would have been the play. So I guess let's talk through this. We have to either decide,
probably
could one of
RB
these,
or QB. Or oh no, there's some good tight ends. So
I'm about to say there's some decent tight ends that like if, I'm not super in on Otton. There's just so many mouths there, but I do like Johnson, and we do have Shaheed, so there's the team correlation. Um, Chig can put up some decent weeks, and I'm kind of in on Jatavian Sanders. If it's quarterback, if we did a quarterback, I'd say we almost would have to take a chance that Flacco's there. Do you think Shador has a chance to start the year?
no, I'd probably lean Flacco. I mean, we could even go Russ, but I don't think he'll last long enough. He
Yeah,
probably won't
I
last long enough.
well, and I just think with this build, right? Here's part of why I was thinking the Flacco, because with this build,
We have a big bet on the Browns.
if our team is successful, our second receiver is Judy, and our first tight end is Njoku. So if this team is successful, we almost need those two to be playing good in the first 6, 7, 8 weeks of the season. And the world in which I think that happens is the world where like Cleveland has a pretty good defense, and Flacco maybe isn't, lighting the world on fire, but he's moving the offense and making the proper throws and making the proper reads, and they're winning enough games where it's not necessarily a rush to get rid of him.
Yeah,
Is
and
kind of my thinking. Like if it goes bad with Flacco, then this team's probably done got kicked out anyways because we probably had too many weeks where Judy and Njoku didn't do much for us.
yeah, no, that's fair. And Flacco, even if he did get benched, it probably won't be until the bye week. So, and he has the latest bye week, so we're probably good. Yeah, that feels pretty good.
I mean, that's my only thinking. It's not that I'm a big Flacco bull or anything. It more so was just how this particular team is built. We kind of
Yeah.
need that Ninjoku and Judy doing good the first half of the season for us to help get us kind of far.
Yeah, no, I like that. And I mean, with Lamar, the odds are good that we don't, ideally whoever we picked at QB in these last couple rounds only has a chance to hit our lineup week 7. I mean, that's
Hmm.
the ideal scenario, right? So yeah, Flacco's fine. I'm cool with that.
I'm gonna leave it on him for a second because I'm pulling something else up real quick. I mean, we're gonna pick him
Okay.
regardless.
Yeah.
Here, I'll just go ahead and pick him. I know we got somebody else streaming. I don't want to slow his stream down.
Oh,
I was gonna just for giggles. I would never take something like this into account beforehand, but I was just gonna go see. Hey, week 7 on Lamar's bye week. Cleveland has a home game against Miami, so it's definitely a early October game. The weather shouldn't be too bad.
yeah.
Maybe we get lucky and Lamar carries us to week 7. Um, Cleveland plays Cincy, Baltimore, Green Bay, Detroit, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Miami is their first 7. So those are definitely tough games that you might not want to throw a rookie QB in there. to the Wolves.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think if it happens week 9 at their bye week.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, we have Geno too to cover the bye week also. So like ideally Flacco doesn't even hit our lineup unless he puts up a big game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in a perfect world, it's all Lamar and then Geno week 7, and then just Lamar keeps carrying, right? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I feel
In a
fine
perfect
getting
world.
them. Yeah.
All right, let's recap it real quick. We ended up with the 3-5-8-2. I'm gonna call it out. You give it a grade. We
All
went
right.
Lamar, Geno, and Flacco. We started with the CMC, then went Mixon, Connor, Dobbins, and Hill for the running back room. Wide receiver room is London, Judy, Myers, Downs, Higgins, Shaheed, Hopkins, and Wicks. Tight ends, we kept the 2 with Njoku and Kraft.
I mean, I'd probably give it like a B plus. I don't really
Yeah,
think we had any real weaknesses even starting late at receiver. Like maybe it's a little light, but it wasn't didn't feel too weak actually.
no, I mean, our second and our third are weak, but then I think we made up with good volume. We didn't wait. There's one thing
Yeah.
making it up with volume when you go 8 or 9 receivers, but then
Yeah,
Shaheed
like
is your third or fourth. We hit it there pretty hard for a little bit. Let's go look at it by round.
yeah, well Shaheed's our 6th receiver, I think.
Yeah, yeah. After we made that
Yeah.
Connor pick, we just went Judy, Myers, Downs, Higgins, Shaheed. I mean, we just went 5 times in a row with the best receiver we thought was on the board,
Right,
and
and
then
with
came
London
back
up
with the
top.
Hop and Wicks at the end of it just to kind of, give it a little bit extra. I think we did a good job correlating. I mean, we have Hill with Lamar, we have old Hopkins with Lamar. We got the little Green Bay stuff right here with Wicks and Kraft. We got the Cleveland stuff. We got
Mhm.
Myers with Geno. I like it, man. I think we did pretty well.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it actually came together pretty good. I like that team.
Let's catch up on some of the chat. Well, I guess let's go jump in one and then I'll catch up on some of the chat. What you want to draft next? Anybody in the chat drafting? You guys want to draft an eliminator? You guys want to draft a super flex? We're kind of open to either. If somebody wants to draft, we can hop in, whatever you guys want. Take Sanders for the upside play. Mark, a lot of times we would, but that's what we were kind of talking through it. And I just think with this particular build, with Judy being our second receiver and with Njoku being our first tight end, we almost need Cleveland to be playing well those first 6-7 weeks of the season. And I think the world that happens is Flacco's playing pretty well and keeping the job because he'll start the season, right? I mean, they're not going to start one of the rookies over him, you think? What do you think
Yeah,
the
I
chance
mean, I think Mark put something like he thinks it'll be Pickett, and that seems like maybe in camp they're saying that a little, but I just have a hard time believing that it'll be Pickett. I lean Flacco. I lean Flacco week 1.
that's what I've been thinking too. What's up, Doc? Good to see you in here. Don't look at the last pick. The Flacco. All right, I guess nobody's saying they want to draft
Oh,
anything, so we'll just go.
well, Doc said he wanted to do a super flex
Oh,
30
I
seconds.
didn't go down far enough. My bad, my bad. Yeah, let's do a 30-second super flex then. I missed those. Yeah, and there goes Mark talking about Pickett. We'll go finish the other comments in a minute. Thank you for pointing that out. I didn't scroll down far enough.
Oh yeah.
30-second super flex. We're going to enter it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hopefully, there's some room for you guys to slide in with us. 9 people. Come on in. The water's warm. Yeah, there's Doc saying he wanted the super flex. 30 seconds. That's what we're in.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done how
Anybody
many of
else
these
wants to?
have oh go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna ask how many of these have you done so far?
I can see. Let me look on my phone real quick. I'm getting Not crazy up there. I wish I had more time to draft. I have some slows still going. Let's see, three. I still have 11 slow drafts going right now. That's a mix of kind of three hound dogs, and then the rest are super flex and a couple eliminators. If I go to the lobby, like I'm gonna start one. So for the puppy super flex, 126 left. So I've drafted what 24 of them so far.
Oh wow, wow, that's a pretty decent amount. I'm only at
Yeah,
like 30.
yeah. I don't know. I've been really into the eliminators and the super flex. What's up, Disbanded? Good to see you stopping by, my man. We're in a 30-second super flex, and there is still 6 spots. If anybody would like to jump in, we got a few people joining us late. If y'all have a chance, go back and check the very beginning of the video out. I got a new little intro I put together over the last couple of days, and we finally got it finalized and ready to go. And the people that saw it thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's real cool. Yeah, good. Oh, good to be here.
Yeah, always good to have you guys in here. 30-second super flex. We just drafted an eliminator.
Yeah.
Hartman, I know you're a Cali guy, man, and I don't know if you've heard me talking about it on my streams, but I'm trying to put together a thing June 20th. Yeah, it's gonna be like it's a Friday. It's a couple weeks away, so I'm trying to start reaching out to people. But the plan, if I can make it all work, is I want to do like start about 6 o'clock my time and have it kind of lined up where I do a BBM every hour with a new guest. And we'd like to have you back on, man, maybe for either the second to the last or maybe even the last one or something, because I know you're up pretty late and you're a Cali guy. So maybe
Mhm.
like that 11, 12 o'clock hour, whatever we're going to have be the last on a Friday night. You think you can make something like that work? You don't have to give me an answer now. Just think about it and get
Oh
back to
yeah.
me.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm sure I can. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But
I don't.
I kind of
Yeah,
had you
cause
in mind for one of the last ones, just because I see you in any chat that I'm in. I see you in it. I don't think
yeah,
you sleep.
yeah.
But I guess I can't
No.
really talk because I see you in candles and then you're in mine. And I'm one of the late ones, and candles always goes first. So I don't get that much sleep. I'll sleep
Yeah.
whenever my kids are grown and I'm older. But if I get about a good 6 hours, I'm normally pretty good.
Usually when Chad streams, it's like I literally like wake up and he's like either just about to start or he's just starting. That's like
Yeah,
when
yeah,
I get
yeah.
up for work and I,
Hmm.
pop in there, say like what's up, hit the like, and then I like start getting ready for work and I'm just kind of listening to it while I'm like getting ready for work. And then while I'm
Well,
like driving or whatever.
well, now that it's summer, I was talking to him in chat one day. I don't know how many of his I'll catch now that it's summer because my kids sleep in a little bit. But yeah, they're during the school year. He was always coming on right when I was getting back from taking my middle school age girls to school. And so I would pop him on and listen to him while I was eating breakfast or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, no, and I mean, I don't know, it's kind of cool. We are getting close to like I think I've seen some people say it like close to the 24-hour like cycle where like there's always a stream going.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah. Other than like the dead middle of the night, it's there's like always a stream going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's tough, the time I normally stream is pretty it's pretty busy this time, but it's the only time that I can really be consistent. So I'm like, well, I want to get into streaming. I think it'll be fun, and I'm gonna be
Mhm.
drafting anyway. So yes,
Well,
is it the ideal time when there's several other guys that stream? Not necessarily, but it is what it is, and I kind of found I like pushing it back to 10 o'clock like this because then, like, sometimes I notice my streams might start out a little slow, but then, when the other guys start ending, maybe my second draft might pick up some views or something. And I don't know. We'll see. That's not what it's about, but we all want views, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, and I think that's a pretty good actually like a pretty good strategy too, because like your yeah, like your first one will come on when like a lot of people are still on. But then like you said, the second draft, there'll probably be a lot of people kind of ending around then. And then, I think
Hmm.
just as you get like more people that come through like at that time, then they might kind of like like sometimes like I'll be honest when multiple people are streaming, like I'll kind of just hop in between some of them or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Just to,
yeah.
say what's up, whatever. But like, then people kind of put you in the rotation once they kind of see it because you're live like after the other people, and then once they kind of get used to you, then you're kind of added to the rotation, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah.
Let's see who we got in here. Mark is in here. This bandit said he was, or no, 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 the other guy, Doc. Doc's in
Dog.
here.
Yeah.
There he is in the 4 hole. Mark's in the 7 hole. We got the 11 hole. How you drafting Superflex from the back end? Are you going two position players, one position player and a QB? Are you willing to push it sometimes, or you got to have the QBs type guy?
Um no, I probably prefer one running back, one QB, but I'm okay with going two position guys if I feel like the value is good enough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also okay with two QBs if I feel like I'm not reaching too much. So I'm pretty open. I definitely am a guy who's valuing receivers lower in general. I'm okay with getting like one or two, but I would say in general, I'm valuing running backs a little more. And then obviously, I really want at least two very solid starting quarterbacks, maybe
Mm-hmm.
even three that I feel comfortable will start all year.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but I mean, it just depends what the board gives you when you're closer to the end. That's just kind of, that's always what you got to kind of do. If you try to force a build, it's never gonna, it might
Oh
work
yeah.
out sometimes, but it's just not gonna work out. Right.
I will say that from this back end, I do end up going two position players more times than not because I just feel like the position players that are normally there are just so much better picks, even in the super flex. What you can get to work out a lot, I've noticed, is you can get two position players here, and then if you really just say, all right, I'm taking three QBs no matter what, you can normally get you two pretty decent starters. Not they're good, really good guys anymore, but two guys that are at least going to be starters here. And sometimes even here, still one will be there. It
Yeah,
gets iffy.
like a Cam Ward Geno type for that
Yeah,
third
yeah,
one.
yeah. It's your
Yeah.
third one or whatever. And the teams where it's worked out like that tend to be the teams that I like the best, honestly, because I don't know. I just have a hard time, even in Superflex, taking like Mayfields and Murrays over like Gibbs and Lambs. Even in
Yeah.
Superflex, it's just hard for me. Like, see here, we got a JJ, we got Gibbs on the board, McCaffrey on the board. You
I
want to go with your
lean
boy Gibbs?
I lean Gibbs or McCaffrey. Probably Gibbs.
Let's get Gibbs, and I know you're a huge CD guy. If he stays on the board, I'd be okay doing a CD Gibbs start and see what we can push and get at quarterback. Or if you want to just go quarterback and make sure we get one, we can. I'm okay with however you
Um,
want to play it.
I'm so what do you lean? You probably lean more towards CD, I'd imagine.
If it was me and CD was on the board, it stays on the board, I would start Gibbs and CD. If it was like just me
All
drafting
right.
by myself.
Let's try
I
that.
can't
Yeah.
pick Kyler and Baker over CD and Gibbs. I can't do it. I don't care the format. I'm not saying it's right. I just
Mhm.
can't do it.
See, I'm a big time receiver hater in this format in particular. But
Well,
I do
see,
love CD Lamb, so I'm interested to see. I haven't really done this yet.
once
So
it gets past about Puka and Nico, then it's like if I don't have one of the guys that I just think is in a regular format a first round receiver, then yeah, I'm more likely to just take like seven whatever receivers and go for all my favorite spike week guys and see what happens. And we
Yeah.
kind of got lucky, because like the 12 hole did it too. So we should at least get one decent, and the 10 hole actually started this, and the 9 hole. Well, no, the 9 hole took Baker, but
Mhm.
the
8.
8 hole didn't take a QB yet. So we should at least get a guy we feel decent about with this first pick, and then it'll depend on what he does.
Seeing like if I was at like 4 or 1 right now, I would just like hammer QBs and like punish all. I'd punish like all the people on the right side. Be like, oh, you
Yeah.
should have grabbed your QB. But I get like maybe I mean maybe not. Maybe taking 3 wouldn't be the best strat, but it is always a little fun when you see some like a lot of people not take them. Sometimes I'll hammer them a little harder and like just because like the kind of like starve the beast type thing kind
hmm
of kind of pull away from those teams. But
And I guess, part of it is, and I need to break this out of my head, but I've talked about it, I think, with you before, about how we all fall victim to recency bias. And like, again, very, very small sample size. But last year, my best regular season super flex team, the out of 14 teams that I drafted, the best one, it won its pod and had the most total points weeks 1 through 14 out of the 14 super flex teams that I drafted. And it was essentially a 2 QB team because Watson was one of the 3 QBs. It was three, but Watson was one. And let's face it, that's pretty much like a zero last year.
oh yeah,
And so
yeah.
I guess that just kind of sticks in my head that, like, do we really have to make sure we have like three super good QBs, or can we make sure that all of our other positions we have really, really strong and have two QBs that we feel really good about? Number two, the 2 hole is doing exactly what you said, though. He's trying to punish us, but the 1 hole only has Allen. So,
Yeah, and
oh,
like I kind of like yeah, like I don't know,
but
3
see,
in a
I think
row
we're
might be too much, but it can be just like the power you get at QB with
now.
that.
See, I
You just
I
stop
will
the
when
rest of
they.
the whole
Oh, go ahead.
draft.
Sorry. Mm-hmm.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead. Finish. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, taking 3 in a row, it might be too much capital because you are taking a 0, a guy who can't hit your lineup, but just, like, having now you basically have 17 other spots, you can just, like, pound out the volume at every other position. I think
Mm-hmm.
it can be powerful just with, like, the floor and ceiling combo, like, 3 really good QBs can give you. It might be a little too heavy. I'm not, like, a super flex expert by any means,
Yeah.
but I think it could work. It could be a good strategy. But I think like 2 in a running back or 2 in a receiver, that's probably the better way to play it overall.
I have went 3 QBs when like I was talking about, and we'll see what comes back that next time. I think we're gonna get two we like here. I mean, look, we still
Oh
have
yeah,
Purdy down
definitely.
to CJ on the board here. It's almost take your pick. Who you like
Yeah.
best out of the QBs on the board?
Mm, probably just Purdy for the schedule, but like probably Purdy for the schedule. He also has the highest ADP by like 10 picks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
getting a little
So who you
value.
like next then? Because we can grab two here, and then hey, we at least got two that we know we feel good about. We got Love, Lawrence,
Um
CJ on the board. We're gonna get two of those three if we want them, which we kind of do after starting running back and receiver, I think.
I mean, so I would probably lean Love if he doesn't get taken because also with Purdy and Love, they're both pretty easy to stack. Okay, he gets taken.
You want to go ahead
Yeah,
and grab
Stroud.
CJ?
Yeah, Stroud's good.
You
He's
see,
also
and
pretty easy to stack too. So I like getting my
see,
stack. So I do like to pick guys like that. Sorry, go ahead.
we'll see what happens. But in this same position, I would say it's almost 50-50, or maybe even a little more than 50% of the time I can get like a Geno or Ward to come back, and
Mhm.
so that's just, I've kind of really been liking that when, like, okay, let me start with Gibbs and CD, two studs at the running back and receiver spot. And then if I can end up with a Purdy, Stroud, and Ward, or Purdy, Stroud, and Geno, I can rock with that as my main 3 QBs. Tack on some kind of backup later or something and hope we get lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with that for sure. And like, I think too, this room, there's not a lot of people going crazy heavy at QB. So I think, I don't know. I think, yeah, it definitely is working pretty good, especially getting Purdy and Stroud. And then I think a lot of times, like you said, Cam Ward does come back. So, and then we can still get pretty good position players.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Yeah, I think it'll feel pretty good. We'll kind of have to see what, what comes back to us, but looks like it'll probably be pretty good.
Catch up a little bit here on the chat. Disbanded, you'll have to refresh my memory on what you're in for or what you're in it for. I'm for it. It's almost to that point. I guess that was talking about the overnight, almost to the point where it's everybody.
Oh
Doc feels
yeah,
me on the
yeah.
kiddos, another daddy. I let the draft fall. That's how I am in everything. That's why when people ask me, how I'm building stuff, my answer is almost always, and I'm not trying to just be like not give an answer, but it's almost always, well, I don't really have a particular build in any type of format. I have a lot of guys that I like, and in each round, I kind of have guys that I like, two or three guys that are my favorite picks to pick in that round. And it's just a matter of, which team, which build that one ends up being, what the board gives to me. Sky is cooking. Like this collab. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, Hartman,
Thanks, bro.
he was my very first guest ever. So you are always welcome on the channel. You're the first guy I reached out to, and it was when I had 20 something subs still. It was an instant, yeah, sure, let's do it. So you always got a spot here, man.
We're cooking. Yeah. Yeah, no, but I mean it's always fun. I mean, I don't know. I mean me and you both, right? We draft a ton of teams all the time. So, it's always fun to just jump on and you can kind of I don't know, it's just fun cuz you get kind of different perspectives, different ideas, right? Like even with those
Mm-hmm.
first picks like right, like you would take Lamb, maybe I'm not as big of a Lamb guy, but like you look at this build, I mean it's working out pretty good. Like maybe that's kind of making me a little more open to like maybe I would start more like that.
See there. You want to go ahead and grab Ward here to lock up a third QB and then start
I
worrying
mean,
about the rest?
I lean Tua, but I'm fine with
Tua?
Ward too. Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
okay with
either
Tua.
one's fine. I just think his
Tua's
upside's a
health
little
just
better
worries me, but you're right. His upside is definitely better.
as our
We could
third
go
QB
Tua
too.
and I mean, there's always a chance the 12 hole doesn't take him. We could then go Ward and just totally be done at QB with those four,
Hmm.
which he
Um,
didn't.
I mean, I would probably lean.
Go
I'd be okay with
Hampton.
that if you want to do it. I'd probably lean running back. Yeah.
You want to go
Um,
Hampton in or Mixon or
Hampton or Mixon, either one would be fine for me. Um, I mean, Hampton gives us more upside, maybe.
let's go Hampton. I love Hampton. You don't have to talk me into some Amari and Hampton.
Yeah, I think like so. I guess that's kind of interesting. Like, so with the three QBs we have, would you look at? Are you still trying to add a fourth QB most of the time, or are you stopping at three?
Generally, with these three QBs, Purdy, Stroud, and Tua, the only reason I was thinking, do we want to do Cam Ward, is because I'd be lying if I said Tua's health didn't scare me a little bit.
That's fair.
But
Yeah.
we could always just take his backup at the end of the draft or something and kind of get a little safety with that, I guess. But
Which
the
backup though?
way
The
I kind
rookie
of
or the Jet or the Jets guy? Zach
That's a
Wilson or the
tough
rookie?
question. That's a tough
Yeah.
question. I will say somebody asked me, not anybody like in chats or stuff. This is before I started streaming. I can't think of who it is, but I was talking with somebody one day and they were asking me about yours because they know I'm a Longhorns fan and what I thought about him in the NFL. And I kid you not, I was trying to name like the type of system where I thought maybe he could actually be a successful NFL quarterback. And I started
Mhm.
naming these things, and I was like, you know what? A really good spot for him would be like if he went to like Miami to back up Tua. McDaniels is a
Sure.
really good play caller, and just the way they kind of run that West Coastish system where they're just trying to get the ball out quick. And last year they kind of went more with the short and medium throws. They weren't even taking a lot of deep shots. But that said, who knows? But to
Yeah.
get back to your original question, the way I kind of play all those backup quarterbacks is if I get to a spot, it definitely wouldn't be anytime soon because I'm gonna try to fill out me. I try to be filling out some more running backs, maybe one more receiver if there's somebody there I like here in the seventh or eighth. But then if I get, let's say we start getting more into like, the 11th, 12th, 13th, whatever round, and I hit a spot in the draft where I just don't like any players on the board, then I'll sometimes, go get like a dart or a shook or, something like
Mhm.
that. A rookie who, all right, at some point there's a decent chance this is the type of team that I would be more willing to go with, like a Shador Sanders, because we know what we're getting early in the season. So let's take
Mhm.
one of the rookies and see what happens later. Who you like in here?
I'm
You like any other running backs on the board, receivers on the
uh,
board? You want me to scroll down or
so I mean, I like Trevion, I like Quinshawn. I'm not a big Travis Hunter guy,
me
but
either? Thank you.
you either. Okay, good. Okay, yeah. So not Travis Hunter. We're good there.
Even more so
Uh,
in this format.
so we could also look at Waddle. Maybe we grab Quinshawn first, and then we try to get Waddle on the bring back, or like on the the way around. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what you think of that. Just because we have Tua, so for a stack.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like Quinshawn a lot. Let's see if this guy takes him. He does need a running back. I just was worried about that.
So what does
Um,
running back look like below Caleb? Um,
Swift, Pollard, Jones.
I mean, do you want to grab Waddle first and then grab one of those running backs, or do you really like a running back there?
I don't know. You call. I'll put Waddle on the board because I'm okay with Waddle. Do you like any of these running backs better than Waddle?
No, like I'm kind of cool with any of the top three running backs right there. So
Okay,
I don't
let's just do
really
Waddle.
care. Okay, yeah. All right. Yeah, I
He
don't
pairs
totally
with
care which
Tua.
one we get. Yeah, and he pairs good, different bye week. Yeah.
Remind me
His
after this draft. Well, here, let's get through this pick first. So you want to go running back here then, or I know you said you like holding off on tight end. Probably don't necessarily need a receiver. Not
yeah,
any big 80.
I think definitely running back for sure.
Who's your
Swift or
favorite on the board?
Pollard. Swift or Pollard. I probably slightly lean Pollard, but I'm totally fine with either.
I'm kind of the same way on them. I click on both probably about the same.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I like Pollard just a little. I feel like Pollard's like just underrated because he was so consistent last year. And he kind of ended
Hmm.
the bad because he got injured, but I think he's a pretty good pick. I think Swift's a good pick too, though. So I feel totally fine getting either one. I didn't know if you had a big lean, but if they're pretty
Yeah.
even, I like Pollard a little bit more.
Only time I think if it's an eliminator, I would probably lean a lot more Pollard just because I think he'll be more consistent. But in a regular style format, I take them both probably about the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably about the same. I'm kind of a Swift hater. I mean, like we said earlier, I'm a Lions fan, so it makes me kind of have a disdain for DeAndre Swift overall. But but I do see that the situation in Chicago could be pretty great for him. But I think either way, we couldn't really go wrong there with either one. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
another Another or oh, you were gonna say something when we were up with that pick.
Oh,
What
I
was
was
it?
just gonna say, remind me in case I forget when this draft is over. Uh, there's something I wanted to talk to you about. Is just as far as like combinations and things like that with players and stuff. But it'll kind of be a long conversation, so we'll talk about it after the draft.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, for
I
sure.
just didn't want to forget about it. I'd be forgetting stuff.
Oh
Old
yeah.
age, the memory isn't what it used to be.
No, especially
Old
like
age and lots of partying in my 20s.
there you go. Yeah. But especially when you're doing like the streams and stuff, sometimes it feels like you like kind of sidetracked, right? Like
Yeah,
I don't know, or like you might see like a comment or something too, or you might just like start talking about a player, and then it's like you get a little bit sidetracked, kind of forget what you were thinking about earlier or something. Like I know that
like
happens
last
to me
night's
for sure.
draft.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. There you go. And then you
It
look
got
up, you
away
have
from me
Jade on
2
blue.
different times.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
player I absolutely have not clicked, I get auto picked, and then I turn around and do it again.
You look
Yeah,
up
it
how
was a
Jade on
mess
blue get
last
on this
night.
team. Yeah, you're a
I need
Texas
to go
fan,
name
right? So
that
that
one
worked out.
still.
Worked
Yeah.
out good. You're a Texas fan.
What's
You got
that
your
say
guy.
about him though? That I'm a Horns fan and I still don't want to click him.
Yeah, yeah. No, that is kind of an indictment on the skills, huh?
I don't think I don't know. I could be wrong. It just the way that he couldn't get a substantial workload at Texas when Baxter went down, and the guy who I didn't even know the other guy was on the team. The guy that didn't. I don't follow them as close as I do the NFL, so I can't think of the guy's name that ended up being their running back. But like I do know that from one of my soccer dads, like one of the dads on one of my daughter's teams, he's like a huge nothing but college football guy, and of course, being in Austin, it's all about the horns, and so he's always like filling me in on all the like gossip and backstories and stuff. And the guy, well, here, let's make this pick. Let's see, running
Um,
backs, receivers. You see anything you like that jumps out at you?
I mean, we could go Ricky. We have Purdy. We could go. I'd probably lean Ricky, unless you really
Ricky?
like B Rob over the other running backs.
No,
But I probably lean Ricky with our Purdy.
I'm not a huge Ricky fan, but again, that's the beauty of drafting with others is
Yeah.
he had talent, coming out, and they drafted him in the first round, and he
Yeah.
does go with Purdy, so I'm okay with it definitely on a Purdy team drafting with somebody else.
So I
We're
probably lean
back on the
running
clock
back.
again.
I probably lean running back here. I know you probably lean with your tight end, I'd imagine.
Yeah, but we
But
can go running back. Who are you thinking? Robinson?
Robinson or Warren probably. Robinson's good though. Yeah.
Okay, we got him in.
Yeah.
I
I
just went ahead and clicked him ahead because I didn't want to get odd and under Jart would have been our guy. Yeah, I might have probably went Hawkinson there, but we did only have 3 running backs, and again, that's it's
and
good to mix up your team sometimes. I don't want to end up with 80 super flex teams that are all almost alike.
yeah, and I'm just in super flex, like I'm just a total punt tight end type of player. Like maybe that's not right, but it just feels like even if you look at a great tight end, just the percentage of your total score in a super flex is so low. Even for like a
Mhm.
Brock Bowers, right? Like I don't know what would Brock Bowers points per game be roughly an underdog? It would be like I think he put up 206 last year.
Mhm.
So 12 points a game, 12.1. It's just like such a low percentage in a super flex scoring system. Even for we're talking about like the tight end one last year, that I just like can't really bring myself to spend like very high capital at tight end in this format.
That makes sense. I should probably start punting tight end a little more. Just like I talked about how BBG kind of got me rethinking the not being as in as I probably should have been on Bowers. That is a really good point. That like you can get 3 later and probably piece together a pretty good score because Bowers goes later in this than he goes in the normal one, but also it's like if you take him, then you're either probably like the guy that took him this time. He started with JJ and Henry, McCarthy, Sam Darnold his second quarterback, and Anthony Richardson's his third, who now at this point might not even play this year. So
Mhm.
I definitely see your point on that one for sure.
Well, he only has 2 running backs, right? One of them's Quinshon. He has Quinshon
Yeah,
and Henry.
Henry and
So,
Quinshon. His third quarterback is AR. His second quarterback is Darnold. His first quarterback is McCarthy.
yeah. So it's
He's
just
going
like
too
no real
heavy.
strength at any position other than tight end, but the rest of his team all feels relatively weak, I would say, right?
Yeah,
Receiver feels
definitely.
okay. Receiver's not bad, but it's not crazy strong either.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like I think like kind of where we passed on Hawkinson, I think that's like a range where it's acceptable to take tight end for sure. I just cannot get in on like Bowers or McBride at all. Like
Yeah, no,
in this
I've
format.
taken Bowers once or twice in here, but in and I've not been a McBride guy on any of the formats really. It's
Mhm.
probably it could hurt me, and I know he's good. I have I guess my reasons for it, but um, we have three receivers already, but there is Higgins there if we want to go ahead and get some sort of stack with CJ. Unless you like one of these running backs better and you want to do that.
Um,
Then we'd at least
I'm
have
cool with,
one.
or go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, then we'd at least have one receiver with each of our quarterbacks. We have the
Yeah.
Waddle, Pearsall, and now Higgins. We could be done at receiver for a little bit at least. Just tack on some spike week guys at the end.
Yeah, for sure. That feels good. Yeah. And then hopefully we get either Charbonnet or like Tootin back.
Hmm.
Um if not, that's fine though. Okay, so probably Charbonnet, right? Unless you really like someone else.
Yeah, no, no, no. I'm good with Charbonnet. Let's do it.
All right,
We
cool.
needed another running
That
back.
feels pretty good.
Yeah. Let's look at it real quick. We got a while till it gets back. 3-5-4-0. We are punting tight end like he talked about. Purdy, CJ, and Tua. Pretty good quarterback room. No overlapping buys, so we're good there. Excuse me. Gibbs, Hampton, Pollard, Robinson, Charbonnet. Nice little running back room. Gibbs holding it down. The other four either good to usable, lots of upside with like Hampton for sure.
Mhm.
CD holding down the receiver room, and then I like that we did that. It at least gives us that's even if we get nothing else, we have a skinny stack with each of our quarterbacks.
Mhm. Yeah,
Since we're
I think
punting
it
tight
feels
end,
pretty good so far.
since we're punting tight end, we could always try to double CJ and get Schultz as one of them later.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, and the Texans, they have a lot of options at receiver too late. Like we can look at Kirk or Knoll. They're going to be quite a bit down the board. Knoll goes at
Hmm.
pick like 180 or something in this, 190. He
Yeah,
goes extremely late, so we could look at him. Um, but yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good with this build so far. I think we're like really well balanced. I think we have QBs we can feel pretty comfortable with.
I
Um,
agree.
Good running back room. Good.
Oh, I was just saying I agree with that. Let's
Yeah.
catch up
Yeah,
on
I
some
think
of
it's
this
gonna be
chat real
relatively good.
quick. My chat notifications aren't showing up.
Hmm.
Sorry about
I
that,
don't
guys.
think I
Let's try to catch them up. This bandit said, "Hook 'em."
with Quinn Ewers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
put the board down so we can watch that while we catch up on the chat. Quinshon, yes, I like me some Quinshon too. He's a real RB. Pollard, good call. Thanks, same here. If he can figure out the ball security issue, he's gold.
I think that's about blue.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He was the most electric back in NCAA last year when he had the ball in his hands. He just felt like tooting for real. Stop fumbling the damn ball. Fumbling tooting. When you have fumbling associated with your nickname, It's not really, or with your name, it's not really going good. I hear people call him fumbling tootin' all the time.
Yeah.
Tootin' is
Yeah.
blue.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you
I mean,
guys
those
haven't
are,
yet, hit the like for me. We do appreciate it. Most of you guys I know that are in here are sub to the channel already, so I appreciate that as well. We're here just about every night. We do take Saturdays off. It's me and the wife's date night, so got to keep the boss happy. What we want to do here, my
um,
man?
I mean, I like Luther Burden a lot. I think he goes too late in this, but I'd be okay with grabbing our first tight end also. I don't know. Do you have any strong leans on this?
I don't have any strong leans. We got four receivers. Guess we could double check the quarterbacks and make sure there's not somebody we want to grab there. No.
No, I mean
You want to just
Milro's okay, like upside, but probably on the way back.
mhm. Yeah,
Um,
you know you don't have to convince me to take Milrow. I
I
love taking him on super flex teams.
yeah,
But
yeah,
if you
yeah.
see
No,
like
me
a,
too.
we could actually go tight in here and just see if Milrow hangs around. Because with these three QBs, I'm okay if we don't get him. Who you
Okay.
like better, Goddard, Kincaid,
Uh,
or the ever
I
famous Pitt?
lean I lean Goddard, but
Yeah,
I'm
me
okay
too.
with any. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I just think Goddard, he's always been really efficient. Um, he just has been hurt the last couple years, but he's been really efficient on the field. He has the ability to spike and put up huge games. Like last year, I think he had the most yardage by any tight end in a single game. He had that one
Hmm.
like week 5 or something. He put up like 100 and something crazy, like 160 yards or something like that.
Yeah,
Um, but so I think he gives you good spike week upside. He's pretty efficient when he's on the field. I think he's a decent value just in general. So getting him there feels pretty good.
I agree. He's the one I would have took of the three if it was just me over Kincaid and Pitts. Are
Yeah.
you taking
Kincaid.
any still?
Oh, Pitts. No, Pitts is
No,
basically
you're
off my
done.
board. Yeah, I mean, I was super low on him anyway, but then I see like the coaches are like, he's just got to learn
Yeah,
how to play fast, and then he has a foot injury. Like, I'm good. Like, someone else can have him. If that's what kills me, then that's what kills me.
yeah. Got to keep the wifeys happy. My dad always taught me happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
When
Yeah,
she's
I don't.
happy, she doesn't.
Yeah. Luckily, I don't have to worry about that yet, but not right now. But someday. Right now, I get to enjoy just the degeneracy. But, later on, I'll worry about that.
Oh, I'm still pretty much there. Good thing we've been married to this summer will be 18 years. So, we're kind of to that point where like most of the time, unless it's date night, we're kind of just doing our own thing anyways.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that's cool. That's like, I mean, yeah, that's awesome. Sounds like you know, like I don't know, like you said, happy wife, happy life, right? Like if you've been
Yeah.
having it going that long, it's yeah, definitely got it going pretty good. Got it kind of figured out.
All right, so let's start looking at this. We got three quarterbacks. These are definitely three that
Mhm.
like if again, that's how I kind of play it here is like with the cousins and not so much Riddler on a team like this, but then you get to the real. I do like throwing on sometimes either Willis or where's he at? Where's he at? Way down here somewhere. Mariota's down here somewhere, unless he's moving up to there he is. I do like throwing them on at the very end of drafts sometimes, especially Mariota, just because with Jaden's play style, injury is always a possibility.
Yeah,
But
yeah, no, I'm okay with that in like the 19th, 20th round, something like that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think that can
yeah.
be a
Just
pretty good
if they're
play.
there, if it gets to the point late in the draft and there's nobody that I like, I was taking a fair amount of well, he went now, but I was taking a fair amount of Cousins before Rodgers signed, just because I thought that if Rodgers ended up not playing football, there was a decent chance that's where Cousins would go.
Yeah, like
What are
good
you thinking
trade
here?
possibility.
We're on the clock. Any
Uh,
position you want me to look at, or
I lean probably Jaceki or a running back. Um,
are you in on Shipley
yeah, that's fine.
for the upside, and then we can
Yeah,
hit tight end maybe on the way back?
yeah, I think that's fine. Um, yeah,
I love
yeah,
me
because
some
like
Shipley.
I like Jaceki, but it's like those other guys that go after him. I don't know. They're kind of like
Well, and
similar tier.
I saw this guy had two tight ends, so there's a decent chance, that he's there still, unless he goes with a third tight end here.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's a good point too. Were there any receivers you really liked? I didn't see much there.
No, I didn't see anything yet. Well, he took Gesicki.
Um,
Um,
we could grab Schultz as a stack with our Stroud. It might be a
I
little
wouldn't mind
early
that.
even.
Is there any receivers you like better here?
I mean, like I like Pat Bryant and Pierce, but I don't know. Like they're okay. If you really like either of them, I'm fine with that.
Let's get Bryant, because I am not
All
the
right.
biggest Dalton Schultz fan. I wouldn't mind him on a CJ team.
Well, we might
I
get him
think
all the
we
way back.
famously auto picked Dalton Schultz on our best ball team. Do you remember that? We were
Yeah, I think it was
deciding
that.
between tight ends for our third tight end,
Yeah.
and couldn't get the button quick enough.
Yeah. Well, I think we did the BVM and we decided to do the 22nd. But it
Yeah.
was he fit the team. You just kind of hate Dalton Schultz. I was pretty
Yeah.
okay with it. He fit the team fine.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And I mean,
But
he was the
yeah.
best tight end on the board. It wasn't like, we had him start and he went 4 rounds ahead or something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, it wasn't too bad, but yeah, I remember that cuz I think we kind of agreed on maybe like Juwan Johnson or something. And then
Something like
it
that.
and then it went like, oh, we got Schultz, which is fine, but yeah.
Them
But I
20
like
second
getting
clock.
Pat Bryant there. Oh yeah, the 20-second clocks will get you.
They'll sneak up on you sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, but Pat Bryant, I really like his upside. I think we got some good upside shots with him and Burden kind of late. And then we do have a pretty good receiver room overall. We got some decent guys early. So I actually feel pretty good with the receiver room overall. Even though we didn't like go crazy like Capelon. We did get Lamb as kind of the anchor though.
Mhm.
We kind of anchored both rooms and then I think all the rooms came out feeling like pretty good, being this late in the draft.
Mhm. The Spaniard said the women are the backbone for real. He helps with the homies too. It's a team effort. Let's we got a little bit. Let's look at some of these other teams. We got a couple people in here. What's
Oh
Doc
yeah.
doing over there? Doc went Hertz, Murray, Bucky, McBride, Higgins, Walker, Devontae Smith, Judy, Scatterbo, Ayuk, Coleman, Ibuka, Flacco, Moose, Hunter. We'll look at them too again at the end. It's easier sometimes to see them in the true, team layout or whatever.
Yeah,
What
I
Mark
always have a
start with
hard
over there?
time.
Yeah, yeah, it's hard,
I always have a
especially
hard time with
once you
this.
get late in the draft, trying to go 18 picks down the board.
Yeah.
Mark started with Mahomes and Amon and Goff for the Detroit stack. Then went Brees and Cook, Devontae Metcalf, Pollard. I mean, Laporta. He's got a nice little Detroit double there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know. I think I guess I didn't see his so I guess we'll see his whole team kind of at the end. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll go over
they
him at
both
the end.
they both looked like I mean, they both looked like pretty good builds. I think they were both pretty well like balanced and stuff. They seemed like I mean, I think that's kind of how we built too. We built pretty balanced too. But I think they both seemed like pretty well like just balanced at all positions.
We got 4 picks left. two of them at tight end since we didn't take our first until Goddard, huh? Or would you still do two tight ends?
Um, I mean, I'm fine with picking three if we can get guys that are usable. Sometimes I get to the end and I'm just like, I'll just call that two trash tight ends because all these guys are terrible. But I
Yeah.
think we could probably get two like right here if we want to. Unless we want to grab if Noel falls to us at 203, we
Yeah.
might want to grab him with CJ. Um, it's pretty good. Like I don't know. I don't know how you feel about him just in general. Wow, the tight ends are getting ripped.
Well, let's
Uh,
look. Is there any the guy behind us has three tight ends though. So
okay, yeah.
we could double him with Noel, or we could go Giddens for a seventh running back, another just upside guy if JT is hurt.
Um,
Or would you like to double?
I would lean the double. I think our running backs are pretty solid overall. Let's see
They
what
are,
what does
and
our running back room look like?
Gibbs, Hampton, Pollard, Robinson, Charbonnet, and Shipley.
Yeah, and I
Giddens
think
just went. You
the
want to grab Johnson?
yeah,
Old
I think
reliable
so.
Johnson?
I think so. Unless you really like one of the two rookies, I'd be fine with them. But I'd probably rather get a guy who's we know he's playing right away.
Yeah, yeah. Get a guy, him, and Arroyo, he might come back to us.
Yeah,
He
yeah, and I
might.
think if either of them do, then we definitely pick them.
And that would be
Ferguson
real
or
nice then.
Arroyo.
Goddard and then kind of the steady Eddie and Johnson. And then, yeah, if we could get one of the rookies. I'm definitely okay with six running backs. I guess I was kind of looking at it like we don't need another quarterback. We could just have those three quarterbacks and be just fine. And
Yeah. Well, I
I
feel
feel
like
like you can't
Oh, go
go
ahead.
ahead. I was just gonna say I'm okay either way. Like it's definitely nice to having to if it was a receiver there that we were thinking about that was not like a stack partner, then I would have definitely probably leaned with Giddens just because I feel like to me in my opinion, Giddens and Shipley are my two favorite, like really, really late running backs who you could just really win big with, if there's an injury in front of them. I'm not big
Mhm.
on Moss. I wasn't really big on Moss or whatever last year. I think Giddens will end up being the man if JT went down. I was really high on Giddens in general as a prospect, but the double stack is probably the right move there for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm pretty much with you on Giddens. Like I like him a lot as a backup. I mean, I was super in on him as a prospect too. He was like my second or third highest owned running back in the pre-draft. He was my second highest owned rookie behind like Harvey. So it's like
Okay.
I was super high on Giddens as well. In like pre-draft. I just feel like just with our build, getting that double stack at the receiver position, and we have a lot of rookies, so maybe just getting more of those like late guys who can break out at receiver because we do feel kind of thin at the later receiver spot. So I just think
Hmm.
more chances to really hit there where our running backs feel pretty solid. Like we kind of
Yeah,
know like at least four of those guys are starting. Um yeah, so it was just more like a build take for me, not as much like a player take. Like I
I
like
got you. I
Giddens. I
got you.
think he was probably the best RB left.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I was even thinking about it, just because really once he gets past Giddens, there's
Mhm.
not really a running back that I like to click. I'll click some. I'm not saying I don't, but
Yeah.
there's not any that I like to click. He's kind
Um
of the last one that I really am. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna get this guy type pick. Um,
Yeah, the other guys are a little tough because it's like all the best running backs left after him. They kind of just profile as like pass catchers. They don't really profile as like people who will take the load. Like it was like Brashard Smith, Woody Marks, guys like that. Like they're just kind of going to be
yeah,
like pass catchers. It feels like
and see, this is where like if it gets too gross at the
we
other
could take
positions, I'll tack
we
on. Those are the two guys in the 19th and 20th rounds that I like tacking on if I don't like any of the other positions. At least if Willis gets in there for Green Bay, going to be running around. Both of them kind of rush a little bit, is what it boils down to.
Yeah. We could get the guy that the Niners were supposed to get all along. The guy that was supposed to be Brock Purdy, Mac Jones. Mac Jones, the prodigal son. That's the guy they wanted that year.
Yeah, just get like a backup. I mean, a handcuff.
Yeah, I don't know how you feel about that. I mean, like maybe not with Mac Jones because he doesn't run, but like if I pick
Hmm.
Jaden, I'll throw like Mariota on there for sure sometimes.
That makes a lot of sense. That definitely makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Mac
I
Jones, I was
don't know
more
if
just joking a little, but
I don't know how many Jaden teams I have in here. It can't be much just because I've had a couple 1 and 2s, and so I always end up going, Lamar or Allen. I took Lamar at the 1
mhm,
the other day just because it seems like I've gotten out of the top 4 spots. It seems like when I have gotten there, it's always one. And I felt like the last couple of times I had one. Of course, I took Allen. So the other night I took a Lamar team from the one hole just to be a little different and get me some more Lamar.
mhm. See,
So Arroyo did not come back. Is there any other tight ends that you like,
I
or
mean, if
you
I
want
was
to
gonna
just be
pick
done?
one, it would be Conklin or Higby, I guess, are like viable. I don't love them, but if you like either of them, I'm totally cool with that. Um,
I
I
mean, we have
mean,
CJ, and we could throw Marks on there if you want to go for another running back. Are there any running backs that you like in this range down here?
there's one, the missile, Keaton Mitchell.
You like
That's my
Mitchell?
dude. Oh, I love Keaton Mitchell.
All right. Hey, I'm all
But
about throwing some upside plays on there. You want to go with him here and then grab one of the
yeah,
quarterbacks and be done?
yeah, sure, that feels pretty good. Yeah, as Keaton Mitchell said in his last interview, this year is going to be a movie.
Okay.
No, I don't know. His efficiency was pretty wild as a rookie, and apparently he's fully healthy, good to go, looking good at camp. Uh, you
I
make
like
the call on
taking
the
Mariota
QB.
over Willis just because I feel like again it's with Daniel's play style. I think there's more of a chance he could get nicked up for a game or two.
Um, do we have any stacks with either of them?
I don't think
We
so.
have Washington running back, but it's like B Rob, so it doesn't really matter. I
Yeah,
mean, I guess it's a little correlation. So, but if you like Mariota better, I mean, I'm totally cool with that. You never know which one's gonna get hurt. So,
we got Mariota. The time ran out,
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, I mean that feels good. Wait, did your
and
did
I
your buddy Mark grab Mac Jones?
possibly yes. He heard us
Man,
talking. He heard you talking about him.
that
Oh
was a
well, he
soul
needed him
read
though
on
because
him.
he only has he took Mahomes in golf. And then Cousins and Jones are the only other quarterback options he has. So he definitely needed to needs to get lucky with Cousins.
When he
Or
said in the little chat he had Mac Jones in his queue for a hot minute. So I probably scared him a little when I was saying his
you
name.
started talking him up.
Yeah, yeah, that was pretty funny actually. Uh,
All right, let's we can go ahead and call our team out and then when it ends so it doesn't I hate how like if we tried to look at someone else's team now, it seems like every pick it'll kick you off or whatever.
oh yeah, every time someone makes a pick, it just goes back to your team. That's so
Yeah.
dumb. I don't know why it does that.
Let's see here. We finished with the 4772. I end up, we were talking about like staying at three QBs. I've noticed here lately, I finished with a lot of 3773s where I did that same thing like I was talking to you at the beginning of the draft. I've been lately getting a lot of picks back here and kind of
Mhm.
doing that same thing where I'll start with my favorite two position players and then I'll just grab whatever of the three QBs I like next. And more times than not, you can get it. Every now and then, if lots of people are three QB happy, then you miss out. But more times than not, you can get Tour or Ward to still kind of be there for you, even at the 11 or 12.
I feel like Tua, especially falling back, felt pretty nice. I didn't really expect him. I was more expecting Ward, but
Mm.
Tua falling back, that felt really nice.
So the 4-7-7-2, Purdy, CJ, Tua, and then we tacked on Mariota. Just see what happens. Running backs is held down by Gibbs, followed by Hampton, Pollard, Brian Robinson, Zach Charbonnet, Will Shipley, and Keaton Missile. He's going to produce a movie for us this year. He will be the star. Wide receiver is C.D. Lamb, Jalen Waddle, Pearsall, Higgins, Burden, Pat Bryant, Jalen Knoll. Tight end room got gross, so we left it at 2 with Goddard and Johnson.
Mhm.
I like it, man. I like it. We paired up our quarterbacks with those 3 picks right there. Then we ended up doubling CJ. We got a little bit of Niners bring back with the Burden pick and the Purdy and Pearsall play.
Oh yeah, and yeah, I mean, I
Dallas.
think, huh?
I was just gonna say we got the Dallas and Washington
Yeah,
with
yeah. I mean,
Robinson and CD.
I think the team came out really solid overall. Like, I feel I mean, I feel pretty happy with all our rooms. I think like obviously tight end was really light, but that feels
Mm-hmm.
fine in a super flex. And I don't know. I think we got a really solid team, got good, like pretty good guys at each position, built them all out pretty good. And then I just want to kind of say too, like at the end, like throwing on Mariota, that feels really good. Like who's gonna hit your lineup more likely? Like a guy like that who might only start 1 or 2 games, but he could put like a 20, a 25 up, or some eighth receiver who you're not even sure if he'll see the field, right?
Doc says he wants to run it back. You got one more in you, Hartman, or you need to go?
Uh yeah, I can probably rip one more. Yeah.
Let's get in it
It's
real
not
quick.
it's not too
Why not?
late actually.
It's Friday night. I get to sleep in a little tomorrow.
Yeah. That's a lot later for you.
Yeah, but it's it's Friday night, so if it was during the weekend, I had to get up a little earlier or something. School's over with now. The weekend we'll generally sleep in. I hopped in it, and there's 8 spots left. Go ahead, Doc. Hop on in it. We'll run it back. Glad you like drafting with us, my man. We like drafting with you too. Mark, you go ahead and jump in it too if you ain't doing nothing. Anybody else that's watching, it's a 20-second super flex. Going for the third draft of the night. The chat requested it. Y'all better hit the likes for it. Let's get it in real quick. Sorry to interrupt you. I just saw he put that in there, so I was seeing if you had to go or what.
Oh no, yeah, I'm good. It's still pretty early for me actually. But yeah, I was just saying quick, like that Mariota pick, even if he only plays a game or two, maybe he doesn't play obviously as a backup, but if he plays a game or two, the points
Mm-hmm.
he can put up, that's so much more valuable than basically any 20th round receiver is ever gonna be.
Yeah.
Um
No, exactly. That's why I like doing it with him at the end there like that. Because a lot of times you get to that 20th round and there's absolutely nothing there that you like.
mhm. uh
Oh,
will you give me just 1 minute, I'll be right back.
yeah. Go ahead. I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna grab a
recap.
drink really quick.
I flipped over to a different tab and I'm gonna switch over to this one and go recap the teams real quick.
Oh wait, this is 20-second or 30-second?
20-second
Okay.
eliminator.
Doc was asking
I mean
about
20
that.
second super flex. 20-second super flex.
Okay, he got it. All right, cool. I'll be back in just 1 minute.
All right. One more for the chat. Let's get those bags, Mark says. I like drafting with you guys too. You guys are always more than welcome. Let's see what spots everybody's sitting at. I'm in the 4 hole. Doc's got the 5 hole. Mark's taking up the 11 hole. I don't know any of the other people, but I recognize some of the names. They're definitely people I've seen in other drafts. see how we start out here. Lamar goes 1. Allen probably goes 2. Jaden goes 2. Allen has to go 3, right? No, Chase went. I think we get a Josh Allen in the 4 hole. Hartman's going to like that when he gets back. Let's go. Let's go. Yes, hit the like and subscribe if you haven't. I know most of the people in here right now, I believe, are firm like and subscribe hitters. Next Wednesday, guys, if you missed it, here's my other little banner. Cody from Off the Schneid, the Bengals man himself, is going to be on the channel next Wednesday night. We're going to start at 9:30. Hartman, we got us a Josh Allen in the 4 hole. What do
Dang,
you know
what?
about that? Yeah,
That's
hey,
crazy.
sometimes you get lucky, right?
All right, maybe I'll have to hop off. Seems like you got too much good luck. Yeah, that's
I I
crazy. Wow.
I seen the Jaden guy went too, and I was like, 3 hole has to take Allen, right? And then sure enough, he took Chase.
That's
We
that
got a
no
gift.
badger. Yeah.
Some of the no badgers don't know what they're doing as much as others do. That is for
That's
sure.
how that's how they get that reputation.
I know.
That's why they
It's
have it,
just
even
like
if it's
on
not true.
DK with the little badge things on DK or whatever.
Oh yeah, they have that too. It looks like little like army ones or whatever.
Yeah, like a little Medal of Honor or something.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's a sick start. Josh Allen at 4.
Mm-hmm. I will take it.
So did oh right, so Doc got in.
Yeah, Doc got in the same crew.
Your
Mark's
buddy
over in the
Mark got
11
in.
hole.
Yeah.
Doc's in the 5 hole. Sorry I didn't call you guys teams out whenever y'all started talking about wanting to do another one. I just wanted to make sure we got in it before it got too late. And then it filled pretty quick. We can
Yeah. The
we'll definitely
22nd, they've
make
been
sure we call
filling.
this.
Oh, sorry about that.
I was just gonna say we'll definitely make sure at the end of this one to call these teams out at least.
Oh yeah, because we're going in pretty quick. But the 22nds, they've been filling pretty quick though. For super flex.
Mm-hmm.
Like they feel like they've been filling pretty quick.
See what comes back to us here. Now, I am more likely to start QB from this side of the board just because it gets to that point where, like, I like a Fields. If Puka goes, I like a Fields better than an Amon. Sometimes I'll take Nico. I don't know. How do you like
Yeah.
playing it right here once you got an Allen or a Lamar or somebody like that?
I mean, for me, it's like always Fields. But okay, Puka goes anyway. So yeah,
Fields?
I would just go Fields, yeah. I I just love Fields this year. Like I think his rushing upside, like he, I think he's actually even a little underpriced. Like maybe not in this format as much, but like regular drafts. Just that
I
rushing
agree.
upside is so crazy. Oh okay, you agree, yeah.
Yeah, I take a lot of Fields. He's one of my favorite QB targets because you don't even have to stack him, right? I mean, he goes late enough in the draft that like he can be a really good quarterback for you just with his floor. If you have Wilson, I like Wilson too. So if you have Wilson, it's a plus.
Oh yeah, definitely. Um
So what would you be leaning here? Would you go 3 quarterbacks and just be done? Our boy Nico's on the board, or my boy Nico's on the board? Kind of either
I
Nico
mean,
or one of those 3
probably
quarterbacks.
probably Nico. I think just because it's such a tier break after him,
Mhm.
it's worth like this is a spot where like even like I said, I'm a little bit lower on receivers in this, but that's a spot where like I would even normally just look at a receiver because you see like Drake London, Brock Bowers go off right after. We'll probably still get a good quarterback back to us. And
Mhm.
then you see kind of some lesser players going off right after him. So that makes it feel pretty good to take him
Yeah, yeah,
there.
yeah. Yeah, well, and if there's a running back we really like, we could even it's just our third quarterback, so if there's a running back we like, we could even grab the running back in the fourth and then the quarterback in the fifth, because you saw we just, got us an okay third quarterback in the fifth at the back end of the last one.
Hmm. Right, right, yeah, because we got two of there at a pretty good price. So I mean, I think grabbing Nico there feels pretty good, and then we should get, kind of like you're saying, we should still be able to get a pretty usable quarterback, and then be able to get a decent RBs, hopefully. Um, we could even
That's
look
the
at
way.
like double RB, and push
Mhm.
quarterback even more. Get like a Rogers, Danny Dimes, or something as our QB3 since we're so strong with the first two. We'll kind of see what's there.
Yeah, I was just about to say that's what I would do in this situation is I'd just light up the green and purple and just see what comes to me and take the best on the board probably with those next two picks. Not two quarterbacks, of course, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I got you. Yeah, that would be pretty funny. Starve the beast. That's what they call it. The starve the beast strategy. No one else in the room can get quarterbacks. You just take them all.
Take them all.
Yeah, hit them with the gritty approach.
Steve popping in here late.
What's up, Steve?
Alan, and we got Alan in the four. Thanks for stopping by, Steve. Third draft of the night. We planned for two. The chat called for a third. We have Docs in here with us, Mark's in here with us. You got to give the chat what they want, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I do this like if anyone's like asking to do another, it's like okay, I got time. Like you twisted my arm. I'll do another draft on Underdog. like, like great convincing skills.
I was
Um,
just about to say Penix. I liked him.
yeah.
We could go ahead and get two receivers and just stop for a while since it's a stack.
Um, I mean, I would lean like Brees, Kyron, Young, but we can grab star someone though. Star someone.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I threw Kyron up
Okay.
there because that was the first or second. I guess you said Brees first. Sorry.
Oh no, I mean Kyron's fine too. I'm
Hmm.
just a little like I'm a little bit of a Kyron hater, but like he's fine where he goes. He's just like I don't know. I think his role might shrink a little. He's never been like super efficient, but it I don't know. I'm probably just being a little bit too biased on him. He puts up points if he stays healthy. Um I think Garrett Wilson there, we can do it because we have it stacked. I mean, hopefully we get him back. That would actually work out decent.
That's
Or
the
we
only
grab the
reason
other
I even
QB.
considered it. You know, I
Yeah.
I generally I wouldn't have went two QBs. I mean, I wouldn't have went with another receiver there without having a running back. Almost never. It was only because we did have Fields that made me think, well, do we maybe want to do this? So he did come back to us if we want to do it, and then we can just stop at receiver for a while.
Yeah, I let's try it. Let's try it. This isn't something I like normally would build, but let's see what the two receivers. We have them stacked. We got a good value on them. Um, we have two really strong QBs, also with
And,
really high floors and ceilings. So
and see, I don't know if this strategy would be Steve approved if he's still hanging around the chat, but and again, I probably totally wrong. I only played 14 of these last year. Steve made three finals, so the guy clearly knows what he's doing in super flex. But it's just like you just said, Allen's probably going to hit our lineup every week. Fields can give us a floor for a super flex quarterback more than not, So like even if I'm not saying we want to totally be done at QB, but even if we have to, take some shucks or darts of the world, sorry about that. I think our team can hold it together with Allen and Fields until we get to a point, where some of the other quarterbacks that we took are actually playing and helping us type thing.
yeah, yeah, no, I think so. I mean, and I think we still do have options a little bit later. Um oh sorry, there Docs of the 20 seconds got him. But I think we do still have we do still have some options. Like you said, Chuck, Dart. We can look at Rogers. Even he's still a little bit low. Danny Dimes. Um, and our two guys should be strong enough. I think our bigger concern is trying to catch up at running back, and then just making sure we get a viable third QB. But we should feel pretty good almost every week at QB with just those two.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, no, I'm on the same page with you. Steve, we drafted an eliminator first and we did a super flex before this one. And I think we both thought they went pretty dang well. In my opinion, I like both the teams we built.
Yeah, we did. I think the eliminator went pretty good. We got a little boxed at QB, but it went pretty good. And then the last super flex, that one actually went pretty smooth because we started one running back, one receiver, but we let him kind of
Hmm.
be an anchor. So it actually worked out pretty good. We had a pretty good balance build there. Uh,
Mixon or Chuba? Which
yeah,
one
I
would you
mean,
lean?
I lean Mixon. I just like him more, but I'm fine with either.
I'm more Mixon over Chuba myself. I
Okay,
was
cool.
just
I'm the
seeing what you
same.
like.
Yeah, they're
And then,
same tier.
we got boxed out a little on the eliminator, but I was okay with it because we had Lamar as kind of, the stud. And
Yeah,
what did we end up with?
we
Who was the
got
second one? Gino, right?
Gino
And then
with
we took
Jacoby.
Flacco at the very end because we had Jerry Judy as our second receiver and Njoku as our tight end. And I don't know, I
Yeah.
just kind of like the way I think I was right in saying that we need those two to be good for that team to be good. So in the world where that happens is probably Flacco's playing pretty good the first half of the year.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair way to view it. I think that was, I mean, I think on that team that was the right call. And I guess like since we had Lamar, it's not really like we got super boxed out. We had an elite. Um,
You like any of
so
these guys? There's one I like, but I want to see what name you say.
I mean, is it Quinchon?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Quinchon, yeah. I'm cool with that for sure. That would be my heavy lean too.
Yeah, and see, we caught up at running back. I mean, a room of
Yeah.
Kyron and Mixon and Judkins with quarterbacks Allen and Fields. We
Mhm.
got Nico as a receiver we took kind of early, but then we got Wilson also paired with Fields. I'm liking it so far.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I think at the next turn, like we'll kind of see what comes back. I got a couple ideas for there, but yeah, I
Okay,
mean, I think it's coming out pretty good together. Uh,
I would definitely agree with that.
I just know I don't want Doc's one pick before us,
Hmm.
so I know
And
I
we
know
know
exactly where we're at.
they have that little private chat in StreamYard too. If you want to throw something in there.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. I just sent you a message in there, but yeah, I mean, I think maybe we do one of those two, and then we kind of can see what else is there. Okay, yeah. All right, yeah. Yeah, because I think that's kind of the end of like a tier. So
Yeah.
it'll feel pretty good if we can get one of those. Um and then yeah, I don't know. So we have Josh Allen, we have Fields, we have Garrett Wilson already stacked.
Hmm.
Um I guess any of the Josh Allen people we're kind of looking at a little bit later. They're none of them are really coming up. So I guess we're pretty good there.
Caught up a little bit there. I know you said you like to push tight end. I'm okay pushing tight end.
Mhm.
We'll see what
Um
comes to us.
yeah, yeah, it kind of just depends. I mean, I think we're doing pretty good with the build right now, though. Like, I think, I don't know. I think we have a pretty good balance again. Getting Garrett there, I think makes us feel pretty solid with our whole receiver room, where we can kind of push it off even a little bit more, having those two like real solid receivers.
Exactly.
So, go
This
ahead.
is definitely a well, we're about to be on the clock and then I'll say what I was gonna say. So
Those are some good running
see
backs,
what Doc
actually.
does. Yeah, we could go running back. Let's see what they got. Three.
Three,
I
two,
don't know.
two. I think
You
we
want to see?
just, I think we locked down Dimes, but
Yeah.
unless, I mean, Caleb Johnson's a good value. So I don't know. What do you lean, Dimes or Caleb? Okay,
Let's
Dimes.
just go ahead and get Dimes. It sounds like he's kind of gonna be the starter, you know,
Yeah.
and some of his receivers go really late in this. So a team like this, what I would do is try to maybe use my other receiver spots to throw on one of the guys, one or two of the guys, you know, that we can stack late with Allen and Jones. And then other than that, maybe just like whoever our favorite spike week guys are when they come around type deal.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think we try to aim for their stacking partners for sure. I'm not a big like Khalil Shakir guy, but I would say other than that, I'd be like, I don't think he totally fits this bill because we got two consistent guys, but unless we get a good value
Mhm.
on him. But other than him, I like the stacking partners.
Yeah, I
Um,
was thinking more Coleman later, but
yeah, that okay, that's the one I like too.
you like any of
Um,
these running backs?
I definitely think running back. I'm fine with Pacheco, B Rob, Mason. I probably lean
Mm,
Pacheco, but Mason's cool. I'm fine with Mason too.
I threw Pacheco on there. We were getting kind of low on time. He's the top ADP. The
You,
only
you're
thing that worries
good.
me about Pacheco is that dang Tony Pollard injury that he's coming back from. But I don't know. You think he's gonna be fine?
I mean, I think he'll be okay. Like, I guess I I don't know if he'll be the most efficient running back in the league, but like, I mean, obviously it won't. But being like facetious, like, I don't know if he'll be ultra efficient, but if he's the goal line back on that offense, that could be pretty valuable. And like, I just think he could be the goal line back. He doesn't really have much competition. I think like Kareem Hunt's pretty much washed. I think Brashard Smith is just kind of a passing downs guy. Elijah Mitchell might play a little. He hasn't really shown much or shown an ability to be healthy. Pacheco did
Mm-hmm.
also come back last year already, and he looked horrible. Like, don't get me wrong, but he came back the same year from that injury.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
So
I don't
maybe it
know.
won't be the same.
Yeah, I just think his goal line role, that's kind of why he rose last year. He was never like an efficiency machine or explosive. Kind of like
Mm-hmm.
Pollard, he's kind of more efficient, explosive early in his career. Where like Pacheco is kind of more like a grinder, like a power back type guy.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I feel pretty good like with him this year, just in the role he'll probably have.
Okay, you're convincing me. Yeah, and I guess one good thing is one good thing is with our particular room, you know, we had Kyron Mixon and Judkins. Mark Andrews had the same injury and he didn't look that great the first part of the year, but he actually came on really strong down the second part of the year. And with him being our fourth running back, we'll be okay. It's not an eliminator or nothing. So we'll be okay
Mhm.
even if he did start maybe a little slow and then kind of, you know, maybe he comes back really fresh after his bye week or something to just, you know, be a nice little hammer for us down the stretch.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just think like, maybe just enough like of a goal line role where even if he's not great, maybe he falls in the end zone 8, 9 times even, and it just kind of
Yeah, yeah,
works out
yeah,
the
yeah.
right weeks or whatever. Um, I don't know. What are you thinking here?
Um, let's see what comes.
All right.
Doc's right there in front of us, so I don't want to say too much.
Oh, right.
We have two receivers, so I wouldn't mind a receiver. I don't love. I don't know. Are you on Scatterbo? I know the fan speak
Mm,
brother and sister love them. I just
Uh,
I don't know.
I mean, I'm fine with Scatabo. I think I'm probably like slightly overweight on him,
I would
but
actually like to go
yeah, Mark
Andrews
Andrews.
here and get us one good tight end on a really good
I'm
offense. Are you okay with that, or do you want to go scat?
That's fine. We can get Andrews.
You sure?
Yeah, yeah. Let's get Andrews. There's a good. there's a good chunk of running backs and receivers that I'm okay with. So, and we're
Mhm.
pretty quick on the turn here.
Yeah, 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 and we got 4 running backs, so, I mean, we almost are kinda at the point where, like, we don't have to stress over, like, making a detour away from running back anymore. 4
That's true.
solid ones. If Pacheco is Pacheco, then he's solid. We got Kyron, Mixon, and Judkins as the other 3.
Mhm. Yeah, I might kind of I think I might have a little bit of a tendency to overdo running back in this format, but I but I don't know. I think grabbing Mark Andrews there feels pretty good. You know, he's a little tier above these other guys. There's still some other guys I think we can feel pretty good about getting
So we're
here.
back
So
on the clock. You like any of these guys here? Who's your pick?
uh not a ton. I'd probably lean like Tootin, I guess. Cooper Cup is fine. Najee's fine, I
We'll
guess.
go Tootin. That's the first name you said.
All
I'm
right. I
I'm with
just
you. I don't really love anybody there.
uh wait, Keon wasn't still available, was he?
Who?
Keon Coleman? I didn't even think about
You
it.
know what? I didn't go look far enough down. That
Yeah,
probably
the
would have been a
ADPs are so weird. I see like Jaden
yeah.
Higgins, and I'm like, oh, like Keon. Like, why don't I see Keon around here? He should be like
I
right
should have
there. But
looked
the
a little
ADP.
further down. My bad.
Oh no, I mean, I didn't think about it either until after. I just went with the full like slappy mode. I'm like, who's the fast guy? Fast rookie, pick him. Like, you know,
Yeah, he's if he quits
he,
fumbling,
yeah, he
he
drops the ball every other time he touches it, but he's fast and elusive, so maybe
we'll see
maybe he'll
what
be
comes
good.
back to us. We don't have to have Coleman. We could always do Kincaid as a second tight end. Are you out on Kincaid or in on him with Allen still at least?
I mean, we can definitely add him on this build. We do have the same bye week with Mark Andrews, um, because they're both week 7, so it's still fine. It's only a tight end, so it's not like it totally
Yeah,
matters to.
if
But
he came to us at a decent value and he was the best pick on the board, I wouldn't let that. It is we do have the extra round, so we could always throw if we really wanted to a third tight end on at the very end or something.
yeah, like Juwan, something like that. Um, I also would want to keep an eye for Josh Palmer too. So
Mhm.
that would be another good one.
What's his ADP in here?
Probably
There he
like
goes.
180.
170,
Okay, 173.
73 is where he's sitting kinda right now.
All right. So when we get around that next turn, maybe we'll keep an eye out for him. We might get our guy right
Mhm.
here. We'll kind of see. But
Possibly. He's
yeah,
one of the higher ones on the board. We'll see.
yeah. People kind of go both ways on him though. I mean, like some people are like all the way out, some people are pretty in. You know, and we're the only one with the QB, obviously. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, and,
uh
this guy has 4. I don't think Doc would take him. Doc already has 6 receivers.
yeah. And he's in a I mean, like I think the tight ends are decent picks here for him, but I don't know. I mean, depends who he likes. You know, those are just the tight ends I like, but maybe,
Mhm.
you know, they're not tight ends everyone
There
likes.
you
There we
go. We
go.
got
Great pick.
fast, slappy rookie running back, and we got Coleman to come back. Nice.
There we go. That worked out. We would have taken Coleman last pick.
Yeah.
I
Instead,
do
we'll take
think
a little bit of value on him.
I do think Doc though making the Njoku pick, like I love Njoku. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
actually would
yeah.
have that legit would have been my pick. I wasn't just saying that. But because he didn't have a tight end yet, so that actually feels pretty good. But yeah, but getting Coleman back, that feels really nice there. Um Probably we could either go with the tight end or another receiver, I'd think, right?
I like, I don't think there's nobody in front of us that's in the room, so
Oh
I
yeah, yeah.
like Harris and Shaheed are both 2 of my favorite just kinda spike week plays. I would say if one of them's there, I would think about doing it over Kincaid, but if both of them happen to go, there goes Harris. Maybe Harris I like better than Shaheed. Well, there goes both of them. I would almost be tempted just to go ahead and double up Allen. Well,
All right.
or
Yeah.
you like someone else here?
I mean, I like Burden, but we can double stack it. Kincaid's fine on the Allen build. I'm okay with that.
And
I,
then,
I
at
just
least we're getting that correlation for the upside because, we had Fields with Wilson, and now we got
mm,
Kincaid and Coleman. I know they both have 7 bye week, but we can make up from that.
yeah, tight end is not really too big of a deal. Man, it's just with like Burden going after like Kyle Williams. Like I don't know. I just that's like too far for me. Because like you
People
think
are
of a
just
normal
kinda
draft, he goes like 20 picks ahead of Kyle Williams,
mm,
right? So like it doesn't add up like positionally from draft to draft. Like it just
y
feels like because that's one way I kind of think about it too is like within the same position, there's no real reason a guy should be much lower or much higher.
mhm,
Maybe in like eliminator, but in something like this, not really.
yeah. Yeah, no, that is weird, I didn't really even think about it or even pay much attention to the fact that they're flipped in, like, say, a BBMs. I haven't done a whole lot of BBMs yet this year. I did only a handful. I did a whole bunch of those $20 ones on DK to start the year whenever I was just kind of streaming more DK just because I felt like the prices were kind of bad on a lot of players over there. So I was wanting to get in as many of them as I could when I was streaming DK. Since I came over here, though, I've only done a handful of BBMs. I'll do a lot more as we go, but I've been really enjoying these super flex and eliminators though too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I really like the super flex and the eliminator, but that does make sense. Like getting in the real early drafts, kind of maximizing your edge. Like I
Mhm.
definitely believe in that. I think I did like 8 or 9 BBMs like the first 2 3 days it was open because
Mhm.
like and then I kind of just pumped the brakes for like a couple weeks till like schedule came out. But yeah, I think getting those real early drafts in, you can really you can get a pretty good advantage like that.
All right, so we're good. We got us 2 nights. Look at the flip side. Every week except their bye week, we're gonna have Kincaid and Andrews to give us 2 shots at getting a pretty dang usable score for a tight end.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean that feels pretty good. I definitely am like pretty big on Andrews. I don't love Kincaid, but having him stacked feels pretty good. Um
You like
so
any of those quarterbacks that's there just to throw on a fourth one, or we can get back with running back. There's some guys there. We're on the clock.
what about receiver? Is there anything you like?
Nothing I
'Cause I feel
like,
like
but call out a name.
I mean we could get Palmer, that might be too much. We could get Besh, Tillman.
Let's go Palmer. I can't do Besh. I can't get there with him.
Yeah.
It's a super flex. It could work out. It is Josh Allen and a high powered Bills offense. They'd probably, Coleman, what? We got him even on a little discount at 141. We got Palmer at 165 and we got Kincaid at 148. If they even just ping pong, and whichever one has the pretty good week for Allen that week, then I think it's, could be beneficial still.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the Bills are kind of a team too. They tend to spread the ball around. So I mean, doesn't feel too bad, like, getting a lot of piece on that offense.
There's a couple running backs I like here, and we could just get a sixth and be done. How you feel about
Uh,
that?
that feels good. I think any of the top 3 or Hunter. Any of those 4.
Which one?
Wright,
Name one.
Shipley, Dobbins,
Your pick.
Hunter.
Name one.
Uh, let's go Hunter.
Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
Shipley.
We were down
Yeah,
to like 2 seconds, so I just threw my favorite guy on there.
no, that's fine.
I didn't want to. I didn't know if
Those
runner yet, because see, we would have probably, if I didn't star him at the last second, we would have ended up with like Mims, and I didn't want that to happen.
yeah.
So I just threw him on there before we got autoed somebody.
It's just with those guys, like, I really don't have a strong take. I mix them all in, like, so much because I feel like, like Shipley if Saquon goes down, Wright if A Chain goes down, Dobbins if he signs somewhere great, right? It's like they all have these cases where I can feel really good about picking them, where
Mhm.
I just mix them all in because you don't know who's going to be the one to hit. So
Well,
I
and
just mix them
see,
all
no, I agree with that. Here's my thing on Shipley White of that whole little range there. He's my favorite. I even some I don't normally take him over Braylon Allen, but once you get past Braylon Allen, then I think Shipley's kind of my favorite guy because I do actually see a world where he could potentially be usable this year, even without a Barkley injury. I mean, the Eagles are still going to have a really good defense. Barkley had this historic year last year, but he also, especially considering they went on a really deep Super Bowl run, had a ton of touches. He's a year older. Like, is there a world where they're playing the long game this year and they like don't give Barkley quite as much work, especially in, say, games that they're already up a little bit, and now they trust Shipley a little more because it's his second year. He's not a rookie anymore, and he, has 70 yards and a touchdown one week and gives us a somewhat usable score on a week where maybe some of our other running backs didn't come through. I could see that being a possibility this year. So for that reason, he's kind of my favorite of that bunch because then yeah, if Barkley misses time, he's definitely a smash also.
I think that's a fair thought. I do think if it's competitive, they're always going to lean towards keeping Barkley in, but they do blow out teams because they're such a good team overall. So I do think that's a fair thought. But I guess my only counter to that would be like Jalen Wright. We've seen the Dolphins use two running backs with A Chain effectively, right? So and
Hmm.
to a lot more extent than probably someone with Barkley will get if both are healthy. Um, I guess that would
Let's
be the
make
only
this
thing,
pick
like,
real
we've
quick or
seen it.
start looking for it, and then we can finish the conversation on that. So we're
Right.
probably done at running back then with the six, huh?
Yeah, probably. Um, I'd probably go, like, Tillman, Pat Bryant, if you got any
Who you like
preference.
better of the two? I don't have a preference.
Um, Probably Tillman. He's a
All right.
better ADP value.
Yeah, 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 definitely. Who knows?
So,
Bryant might come back on the backside. We're only at four
yeah.
receivers, so we could fit Bryant in if he came back.
Yeah, definitely.
I
Um,
hear your point, and I do like right, and I might change my mind here once we get more into camp. It's just for me, it's Shipley over Wright because I'm kind of staying away. I think we talked about it in one of the other drafts. I don't know. I mean, all of the Gordon guy was bad last year in college, but 2 years ago, coming into this past college season, he was thought to kind of be the number one back and by a lot of people before he wasn't good and Genty just kind of went all world, and so
yeah.
like, is there a world where Gordon is good for whatever reason and maybe it was something? What are your thoughts on Gordon? Why was he bad this year after coming into the year as such a high prospect at running back?
Um, let's make this pick real quick.
We're gonna just
Brian's
grab
cool.
Bryant,
Yeah, I'm cool with that one.
got
Um,
both of them.
So I guess like I'll be fully honest, I don't watch like really much college football. I follow a little. I mainly follow in the draft, like for the draft and stuff. But I guess it's just to me like I feel like Ollie Gordon doesn't really have a ton of athleticism. And then you just look at draft capital, like if there was more potential to him, you would think he would have went higher in the NFL draft.
Hmm.
Um, I will admit though, the one thing with Jalen Wright that worries me more is like he was not the best performer as a rookie. I think people got really hyped on him, but he didn't perform very well. Now the
Yeah.
offense as a whole, like rushing, performed terribly. Even A Chain, he kind of more got by as a receiver, so maybe you could blame it a little on the system as a whole, but that's the other thing where like Wright didn't perform very well either. So maybe Ollie Gordon can kind of get a role. It's just tough. Just when he went so late in the draft, it's tough to ever really put a bet on a guy like that. Jalen Wright got a lot better capital than him. Um, but I don't know. I guess like I mean I'd be interested to know what you think about Ollie Gordon. I don't really watch like
I'm
college
with you.
like
I
that.
don't watch much. I try to catch the Horns game if they're on. Uh, I don't know. My wife does not like football, and I watch football all day as much as I can on Sunday. So that's our kind of like just little unwritten agreement that like I try my best to like not just sit down on Saturday and watch football, at least until the NFL starts playing on Saturdays late in the year.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean that's fair enough. I'm just I don't know. Like I watch NFL religiously, but I'm just not much of a college ball
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, me too. And that's kind of why, honestly, is just because I try to keep Saturdays more for like, all right, whatever soccer game we got going on with the kids, and then just, Sunday is kind of the night that I mean, Saturday is kind of the night that me and my wife will, watch a show or go out to eat or something like that, and just kind of spend some time together too or whatever. So I don't watch much college ball either. Pretty much when the seasons are over, like you probably do, I just cram in as much rookie tape as I can.
Right, exactly. Or like I'm probably a little bit more like in like the data, the numbers and stuff for the college
Hmm.
guys a little bit. But I do try to watch like a little bit of tape on them, especially guys that like like I don't need to really watch tape on Genty. Like we all are
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're on the clock here. You want to go receiver, running back? Well, we said we were done at
do
running
we have a
back.
tight end that we like? Oh, we
We
grab
could do
Arroyo.
Arroyo.
Yeah,
Sure, I'll
that
throw
feels
him
good.
on there.
Yeah.
Maybe by
Yeah.
week 7 he's getting on the field a little bit.
Yeah, he might hit it a little bit. And even because even with our guys, like, Mark Andrews a little more touchdown reliant, Kincaid's even a little more like big play kind of spiky. So just kind of
Hmm.
getting a more like spike week guy again that we feel good about. And then
What do we
how's
want to
the
do with this? Oh, go
how's
ahead.
the team looking? Probably
I was
receivers is what we need.
Yeah, because we have the three quarterbacks, Allen Fields and Jones. Running back, we're good.
Yeah.
Receiver, we still only have 6, and we took that nice little break after Wilson. We could go. Let's see what this guy does. We could take like a pretty good at this point ADP value on Noel, and at least he kind of team stacks with
Either
oh no with
well
Nico.
him or AD Mitchell.
Oh
Because
yeah,
we
yeah, yeah,
have
yeah. We got
Dimes.
Jones. You're
Yeah.
right. Let's go Mitchell. That makes more sense. I forgot we had Jones. I didn't forget.
Okay,
I
yeah.
just wasn't thinking about it.
Yeah, and that feels pretty good. So we have all our quarterbacks stacked. Obviously, it's just a little skinny with Jones, but we
Hmm.
have Josh Allen and Field stacked with like their main guys. So that feels really good. Or
So then
I
we
guess
left off
Field
at
should get it, but oh, sorry, go ahead.
running. Oh, I was just gonna call out the rest of the team so we could kind of start thinking what we wanted to do with 20. Uh,
Mhm.
Running back, I think we're good. I mean, we got Williams and Mixon and Judkins and Pacheco and Tootin, and then we threw Shipley on, and there's not going to probably be anyone in the 20th round worth taking anyways.
Mhm.
Receivers, we're at 7 now with Nico and Wilson, Coleman, Palmer, Tillman, Bryant, and Mitchell, Andrews, Kincaid, and Arroyo. I would almost lean either just go ahead and tack on an 8th receiver since we did take that big break or one of the backup quarterbacks.
Yeah, I probably lean eighth receiver just because we're a little thin after the top two. And like we did spend our first two picks. We got really good quarterbacks there.
Mhm.
And Dimes, I feel pretty good with him too, actually. So
Mhm.
especially with AR's like injury kind of coming in. Um I'm fine with a backup. If we wanted to go a backup QB, I'd probably lean Tyrod to back up our fields. Um but I'd be okay. Like I'd probably lean receiver unless you wanted to get like Tyrod or Mariota or something.
I think I would lean receiver with this one too.
Okay.
Cuz
Yeah,
cuz we only
that
have
sounds good to
7 and
me.
a lot of times I stop at 7, but we took a really big break after Wilson to Coleman. So
Yeah. But
we
I
could
think
use some
that's
extra
the
bullets.
I think that was the proper way to play it with us getting two
No, no,
early
no. Yeah,
receivers.
yeah. No, I did
Yeah,
too. And then you figure out a Coleman and Palmer, only one of them's probably hitting our lineup each week. You know, so
right.
I almost look at it like we have six wide receivers in a
Yeah.
way, and no, still there. Now we could team stack him with
Uh,
Nico. I mean,
yeah.
this 40
Yeah, I mean
ish
that's like
picks past
40
ADP.
picks. Yeah, why
Almost
not?
have to, right? Might as well. Worst
Yeah.
case, if Nico gets hurt or something, then maybe he could step in and have a pretty usable week while Nico's out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I mean I think at that much value, you just it's hard to pass on a guy at that much value.
So we finished with the 3-6-8-3. Josh Allen Fields, Daniel Jones, Kyron Williams, Joe Mixon, I can't talk tonight. It's getting late. Judkins, Pacheco, Tootin, and Shipley. Nico Wilson. Then we did the two Buffalo guys. Tillman. There it went on us. Let me see. Puppy Superflex.
Yep.
Full draft. Nico Wilson, the two Buffalo guys. Tillman, Pat Bryant, Adonai Mitchell, Noel. Tight end room was Mark Andrews and Kincaid, and then we ended up throwing the rookie from Seattle on there as well. Let me, before we talk and close it out, go call these other two out because I missed them in the other draft because we jumped in this one so quickly. Doc went with the 3-7-7-3. I said last draft, that's what I end up with a lot. Jalen Hurts, Penix, and Garoppolo. Ooh, I like your first two quarterbacks. That's tough not having a third one that you can count on before injury. But hey, it can work. I told you my best team last year. I kid you not. Out of the 14 superflex I did, I played mostly DraftKings. It essentially was a 2 QB team, so it can definitely work. Let's look at the running back room: Walker, Pollard, ETN, Algier, Dobbins, Hunter, and Lloyd. Receivers: Puka London, Adams, JMO, Olave, Shakir, and Lockett. Njoku, Goddard, and Higby. Their receiver room is really, really strong.
Yeah, definitely. Um so oh, that's why you got Garoppolo. So okay. I was wondering he
Yeah,
built
yeah,
out the
yeah. Because he's
Rams a
got
ton.
yeah, yeah, yeah. At
But he has Penix, right?
53.
So they're all bringbacks for his Penix.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that
He's just
actually
hoping he gets there and stack that bad boy up.
yeah. Yeah, I mean that's interesting. He really built out like a huge stack on that Rams Falcons game week 17, right?
And you never know. He
So,
could have got lucky. I mean, he could have, I guess, got Stafford to flip all the way back around, and then it would have been a sick team if he would have grabbed Stafford for his third.
yeah. But I mean,
Let's see what
getting
Mark.
all the bringbacks on his Atlanta though. I mean, that's not a bad way to play it.
Oh no, no, it's stacked. And like I said, like everybody says, or lots of people say, you got to have three quarterbacks you can count on. I definitely have some teams where I only have two quarterbacks that I can count on, and then one or two just backups, hoping I get lucky because it always sticks in my head that like, well, your best team out of again a small sample, but your best team out of the small sample essentially only had two quarterbacks in the super flex. So it
Yeah.
definitely, if you have the right team around it, can work. Mark went with the 4-5-8-3. Trevor Lawrence, Aaron Rodgers, Shadur Sanders, Jalen Milrow. Need to get lucky with some stuff, buddy. Christian McCaffrey, Taylor, running backs are nice. Christian McCaffrey and Taylor leading the room with Jalen Warren, Ramondre Stevenson, and Hill. Also has strong receivers: Lamb, Hill, Evans, Devontae Smith, Hollywood Brown, Calvin Austin, Booty, and Wilson. Three tight ends and Hawkinson and Fryermuth, and then threw Fannin on at the end, probably because he has Shadur. I mean, I guess he's got Rogers is signed now, so it's not as bad as I initially thought. At least he's got his two.
Yeah.
If Rogers is good, he threw on some Pittsburgh guys, a couple of the whoever ends up being the number two, unless Rogers drags Lazard over there or something. Who, if it's Austin or Wilson, then he's got them. He's got him with Fryermuth also. He's got some nice correlation with it at least.
Yeah, I mean, I think the team looks pretty good. It's like I don't know, it's pretty well balanced. He's got some of those good like early running backs. Like I don't know, it's not super weak in any position with if you count Rodgers like just signing and starting. Like QB's a little risky, but if he's healthy all year, it doesn't feel
Hmm.
bad. You know, you kind of hope Miller over Sanders takes over kind of halfway through. Then you don't feel bad at all about the QB room. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, both
yeah,
of them, I think, overall did pretty well. They could definitely be. I try like whenever I look at people's teams, I'm not one that's like, oh, that's a horrible team, or
yeah,
oh yeah, that's a really really good. Because we never really know, right? I mean, look at last year, how many guys we were wrong about that. We were dead set. We knew this guy was going to have a better year than that guy or whatever, and both
yeah.
of them are definitely really strong at receiver. I mean, he's got JMO as his fourth and Olave as his fifth. Both of
He
the Rams guys in there.
he did say that the Adams pick was because the clock ran out.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay. I must have missed that earlier.
which does make
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little
yeah,
sense
yeah.
because like even though like you really like getting Puka and Adams, like maybe it does limit your upside a little without having the QB, so that does make sense. But they could kind
Rogers
of
at
ping
least kind
pong.
of saves you, Mark. At least you got the starter. You
Yeah,
just need Shadur to go ahead and take over.
yeah.
Team
Oh
looks
yeah.
solid. Thanks, Hartman.
He-
Hey, real quick, man, before you get out of here. So here's something I've been debating in my head, right? And you said something on, good Lord, you've been on so many streams today. I can't remember if it was yours. I want to say who were you on with? Was it Meg that you were on with today?
yeah, yeah. I did the fan speak one. Yeah, with Meg.
I think it was that one that you were on. And you were talking about the overlay and liking it and everything. And I keep going back and forth in my head if I want to get the overlay. I think it's a great tool. Don't get me wrong. It's not the reason I don't have it right now is not because I don't think it's a great tool. I've seen you guys use it enough that I think it's a really good tool. One of them for me, one reason I guess for me is I haven't done that many BBMs really yet. And what pre-draft stuff I did do, it was over on DraftKings because I really hadn't been drafting much on Underdog until I started streaming. And then even when I started streaming, at first I was doing DraftKings. But another reason why is because like you made it, you were talking about you were looking at the overlay and you had like a high percentage, like 50 or 60% of two particular players together. And
Oh yeah.
when you said that, it initially the thought popped in my head because I don't have the overlay, so I don't know my percentages of them. But the way I build a lot of teams in a lot of different formats, I end up with running back rooms that start out Amari and Hampton and Judkins together a lot because you can kind of get them, right there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it happens
Well,
as much in Superflex. Let's see where they're going. In Superflex, they get pushed up more. I know one of my pug teams that I drafted the other night ended up with those, I believe. I know I have a couple of what was that 5 entry tournament, the Hound
oh, the
Dog or
Hound Dog.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know I have a couple of those. And so here's what I'm always wrestling with in my head is like just me, the way I've always been with my strategy is like I really am okay. Like if living and dying with, I guess, my picks, or whatever. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
like I'm afraid in some ways that if I get one of those overlay tools, that I'm gonna see something like that, and I'm gonna be like, oh well, wait, I have too much Hampton and Judkins together. When really, like in my core, it's like I'm okay having a lot of those guys together because I think they're great picks in the rounds that they go in. And so if it's a team where, say, I started with three really strong receivers, yeah, I want as many Judkins and Hampton teams as I can get together because those first three picks are probably mixed and matched pretty well with those. I don't know. It's just I wanted, I guess.
Yeah.
So are you slowing
Well,
down on that? What combination was it? Thanks, Steve. I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. And I know we talked a little bit, Steve. You're more than welcome. If you ever want to come on here one night, I would still love to have you on. Just reach out and let me know.
um, oh, see you, Mark.
Talk to
Uh,
you later, buddy.
so I think so. For mine, it was Ashton Genty and Tedero McMillan, which
Yeah,
are
yeah, yeah.
both players I like. Not as much Genty. I really, really like Tet McMillan. But I think here's the issue with having too much of that combo, even though I get what you're saying, you're okay with comboing it a lot. Is like, let's say there's another player, like let's say there's two receivers or another running back that goes in the same range as one of those running backs that you like Hampton. There's a lot of good players on that turn, right? There's like
Yeah,
Kittle, there's a couple receivers you might like, there's maybe another running back you like. I don't totally know, but let's just say, for example, that's the case. You
yeah.
don't want to look back and it just happens to work out that 70% of the time when you take Judkins, you're taking Hampton, but you have Judkins and let's say Kittle, who you like, only like 5% max or matched, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's where it's the downside is like the other players you like in that same range, you're not going to have them comboed. So then let's say Judkins, like obviously, forbid, but like let's say he gets injured or something, or he's just a bust
Mhm.
in general, we were wrong about him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
of
don't
course.
want it to be tied to all your Hampton teams if he's the mega breakout. Or if Judkins is the mega breakout, you don't want it to be tied to only Hampton if you like other players in that range. I think
Mhm.
that's kind of where it's beneficial. Where like if you didn't have anyone else you like in that range at all, then maybe it's a little less beneficial. But I think like maybe that example where you like Kittle, but let's say you look and you're like, oh, I only have Judkins on 3% of my Kittle teams or something crazy, right? Because it could happen.
Mhm.
I saw one in the Pat Fantasy Dog Pound he posted in his Discord. This one dude had like 120 drafts in, and he had like 24 Jamar Chase teams or something.
Mhm.
And he didn't have a single Trey McBride Jamar Chase.
Mhm, mhm.
Uh, even with 24 Chase teams, and he was overweight on McBride. And
Oh, wow.
it just happened to like not like he was either overweight or right in line on McBride, like around 8-9% on him. But it just happened to never line up, and that's like the stack, right? So that's where it's beneficial, but I don't think you need it either, especially if you haven't done a ton of BBMs. You could wait until maybe later and just like check it. That way you don't go too hard, like not doing what you believe in. I just think sometimes you can do it and not do it intentionally where your teams are very reliant on like a certain combo just because that's where the ADPs happen to line up.
Mhm.
Um
Yeah, I hear
oh,
you. I just wanted your thoughts on it because, like, and you know what? I may end up getting it at some point this summer. I'm definitely not ruling it out. And for the most part, I do try to switch it up a little bit. Like, I know you listen to a lot of my streams and stuff, and you'll hear me sometimes, say like, oh, well, I know I have to. Like I was talking about it in the super flex, the first one we did. I said I've when I'm in the front four, I've almost always had that one spot, and I knew I had taken Allen a couple of times, within say the last 3 or 4 days. So the other night I took Lamar. So, I
mhm.
don't know. I don't know. I just, I guess there's that toss up right now in my head of like, I definitely know it could be beneficial, but then like, I also don't want it to like influence my decision and make me take somebody that I think isn't as good a pick as somebody else just because I'm purposely trying to like, skew a percent a certain way or something like that. I guess it's kind of the toss up I've been having in my head.
Well, that's totally fair too. I don't think that's a crazy thought at all because I definitely did that maybe a little bit too much last year where I wasn't super happy with it, where I like in BBM especially, I went super flat on the exposures. And I had
Mhm.
some guys with stands, right? Like I didn't go like everyone's 8%, but there were guys I didn't believe in that I was maybe taking more of just because I'm like, oh, don't let him burn me, don't let him burn me, don't let him burn me. And but if you have the mindset like you do, where you don't really feel like you want to take your stands, it probably won't affect you as much, just as long as you kind of like stay true to that. It's just
Mhm.
more like I don't know. It's just the combos where they're not correlated because like to me, like the Genti Tet, especially such an early combo. I
That
like
makes
both
sense.
players, but I would really rather just mix in like Mike Evans, Josh Allen, who I view in a similar spot to Tet,
Mhm.
over just always matching Tet, just because they're just not correlated. What if one's a bust, even if I like them? Like they don't correlate at all. So like having that percentage just doesn't make sense to me. I think the later you go, the less it matters, though. Obviously, right?
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense, and especially I agree. The higher up we're talking with the picks, then yes, it's probably is smarter to have it mixed up a little bit more and stuff. And like I said, I might end up getting it before the summer's over or at some point this summer. I just kind of been wrestling with it in my head, and then whenever I heard you saying that today with Meg or whatever, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna talk to him before we get off tonight about that or whatever.
Well,
But
that,
anyways, it was fun, man. Doc, I'm glad you appreciate it, man, and I appreciate your support. You are on a lot of my streams and drafting a lot of my drafts. You're always welcome here, buddy. Appreciate it. But you got anything going on tomorrow night, Hartman? You gonna be on a stream? I tell you, man, I apologize. I forgot to go and link your description in the. I would link your YouTube in the chat, but you guys know who he is, Hartman Fantasy
oh, yeah.
Football. If you want to post your link in the comments after the video, feel more than welcome to. I just was busy with the wife and the kids before we got on and forgot to go do it. I do apologize for that. But
Oh yeah, that's no problem. Uh, I think I'm probably gonna stream like tomorrow around like noon my time, maybe Sunday same time, and then I think I'm going on Fantasy Football Garages tomorrow night. That's
okay,
it.
cool. Yeah, I was on there last night. It was a lot of fun. He's a
Mhm.
pretty cool dude.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah. I've been on his a few times like last like week or two, something like that. But yeah, it's always a good time. I think I don't know. Like I enjoy going on like I've been on like your stream, his stream, like the fan speak, Nick Bach. It's like I
Hmm.
don't know, it's just fun to get all the different perspectives and stuff. It's actually pretty fun just being a guest. I'm just kind of like chilling, like, like
For sure,
help
for
make the
sure.
picks or whatever.
That was my first time going on someone else's last night when I was on his. And yeah, it is kind of cool just to, get to do the same thing, but you don't have to run the ship. You can just kind of, say
Yeah.
your opinions or whatever and listen to theirs. And always
Yeah.
fun, no matter how we draft, right? Any way time we get to draft, any way we get to draft, it's always fun.
Yeah. Yeah, but thanks for having me on, man. I mean, it's always a fun time, yeah. Yeah, I was just sitting back having a couple beers, just
Nice,
like
nice.
helping guide the ship. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, you take it easy. Have a good night. We'll see you around, buddy.
All right, yeah, you too. All right, see you.